Welcome back, everyone, to Drop Frames. What the?
Oh, hey, we're back. We're back.
What is Wheat drinking?
I'm pretty sure at some point you have given me shit for being on stream with my little. This is Blue Bottle coffee. It comes in a carton. It's yummy.
Is it?
It's not milk.
It's coffee mixed with creamer, or is it just black?
Yeah.
Do you mind?
Try it.
Give a little. Because I like those.
Yeah, we're all not going to PAX
like
next
the
week.
Starbucks
Let's just
double
drink after
shots.
each other.
What?
Like the Starbucks double shots that you get in, like they're cold and you.
Don't even compare the two.
I'm just saying that's the only thing I have to compare it to. Hold on.
Whoa.
Shit. That's not bad.
We just turned into a.
That's not bad.
Tech
And I feel like I'm
podcast.
in elementary
Coffee
school
talk.
again.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh shit, the poor kid can't afford chocolate milk.
Shout out to Pellegrino, by the way. The only water you can get in Twitch offices because they're all stuck
That's-
up pieces of shit.
That's not true.
They don't have tap water. They don't have taps.
There's no literal
This
water.
is the
except-
tap.
Hold on,
We fill these at the
hold
tap.
on
You
a
wash
second.
your hands
Hold
with
on a
this in the
second.
bathroom.
This is in the toilet.
It is,
I refilled it in the toilet.
Hey, so
Pellegrino water.
Here's you guys who are like filling up the landfills of America with all your shit. Okay, we made an office decision that we would stop doing bottled water because everyone drank it and we were just produced. So we got filtered water. They're all over the place. You just need to know where to look.
Oh.
That's what you drink out of.
Hey,
We
can
all
one of
got-
the set guys get the soapbox out of here?
I'm just saying,
it's
man.
taking up the
Some
site.
people wanted the planet to live an additional 100 years. They decided to make this decision and coming down on it. Anyway,
There you go.
Yeah.
So games.
I drink tap water. I like tap water. I don't give a shit.
admittedly, I just stopped drinking water. So, yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go.
All right,
Let's do
number
some
eight.
numbers here.
Number
Number
eight.
eight.
Okay,
Number
guys.
eight.
I'm
All right,
really
we're on-
hoping
yeah, okay, number
someone
eight.
else played this.
Okay.
Because, again, one of those games where, maybe a chat suggested it or I saw it in my Steam queue, and I was like, oh, my God, this game's awesome. And it's Kingdom. Have you guys played it?
It's not on my top 10 list. I liked it. I loved it.
Yeah, so Kingdom is...
Is that side-scroller
It's
thing?
a side-scrolling pixel art game where... And I'm kind of enjoying this new mechanic in games where it's like, information? A tutorial?
UI?
Nah, fuck you. Like, we don't need any of those things. Just play the game and learn it.
You know what
played-
this
yeah.
looks like to me? It looks like, is it sorcery?
Sorcery?
Yeah, with a SW.
I
It's
played
like
that.
a mobile game.
Yeah.
It has the same
Okay.
like
I
art style
think I do know what you're talking
of like
about.
swordcery.
A little bit different.
whatever
So,
the fuck.
like, really, the whole point of the game is you are a king or a queen on this horse, and you will go around and you are collecting coins, and then you use the coins to build reinforcements, to order troops to do other things, to bring new troops, and then you must consistently defend your base from like this onslaught of forces that come. Now, there's a lot more.
Whoa.
There's a lot more to it than just that, but part of the greatness of this game is discovering it on your own. Right? This isn't a game that you should start up, not know what to do, and then go to like a walkthrough video to find. Like, no, play, like, fail and learn by failing, and then you will get so much reward out of the game. And it's amazing because the mechanic is simply spending money, but it's how you think about spending that money and some of your strategies on getting money that, it's a really, really unique game.
Interesting.
To have come out this year.
Co, you played this?
I did. I actually played it on, I think, the second or third day of release. So it was the kind of thing where there weren't a huge lot of resources yet
You were
on,
still
on
in the
what to do.
zeitgeist. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I had a really great time with it as well. I think I spent probably 3 or 4 streams on it, like full streams. Got pretty far. I mean, there's a surprising amount of depth to it. It comes off as kind of a simple veneer, but then you kind of really start thinking about the process. Do you go for the things that are going to get you money quicker? Do you build up defenses to protect yourself? How far out do you expand?
Do you
Expansion is
expand? Like,
everything.
expansion is huge.
Yeah. So
when-
What is the win condition?
there are 2 portals on each side of the world, and there's where the monsters are coming from. Now, I got to be honest. I don't know if you beat it. Did you beat
I've
it?
actually still never beaten it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I think with as much as we played it, this is actually a pretty cool thing about it. But I think you expand to both portals, and then they like cause a huge influx of monsters to come in. And you have to defend that, and then get to the portal. But again,
there's also been an update recently that added a bunch of stuff and fixed a bunch of stuff, and I haven't played it since that update. But yeah,
very cool. But yeah, for me, it like there was a lot of potential to just kind of. It was a very relaxing game. Like you could just kind of enjoy it. You can only move two directions. There's left and right, and that's it. And spending money, and that's about it. And when you can increase your battlements to expend them by spending money on them. You have to choose like what kind of reinforcements do you want, what kind of people do what. You have to buy them tools.
PC only.
Yeah, can you get it on mobile?
I don't think it's available on
It
mobile.
would make a perfect mobile game.
It might be something that will come, but I played it on PC.
Yeah, I actually did too off Steam.
Gotcha.
But it's really cool. It's a very fun game to check out if you're looking for something different.
It
looks
simple
it looks
different.
vastly different.
It definitely followed that criteria of didn't know what the hell it was, wasn't expecting it, totally sucked me in like a black hole that was just like. And the first time I played through is one of these like, well, wait, why do I? Wait, no, I screwed up. I want to start over. And going through that. And there's some, like, keep in mind, too, is that every time you play it, the world changes. So it is procedurally generated from the moment that you start, which means every gameplay experience will be different, and you will have to take that into account. So you generally come up with your strategies, but you're not necessarily always able to use your strategies because the way that the world might actually generate, which is also pretty sweet. There's definitely no surefire. This is what you have to do to win. You really have to learn the game and some of the nuance of it in order to, I think, reach that goal.
Can you jump off that horse and stab a dude?
Never.
No,
Assassin's Creed's
no
a better
attack.
game.
Never.
It's just right and left. That's it.
That's
Yeah,
it.
man. I know, right? It seems so simple, but
no. But how do you like go back? You said go back to your base and expand. Like there's like a menu system where you go back and like
no,
It's
you're
all spending money.
yeah, and you
So you, like,
being
dump money into it.
being in your base when like waves of monsters come is really important, right? So you also have to know when you can leave your base and when you need to come back. And I'm telling you, man, just check it out
Interesting.
sometime.
You might have to
It's
check that
really
out.
it's a really fun.
Might be an indie Sunday game, you know?
yeah, totally,
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, cool. I've never heard of that, so it's cool to see it somewhere
How's the sound?
show up on the list.
Good.
Also
Good.
fantastic.
Really
yeah.
Is it like of the time music or of the, or is it just like?
I want to say it's got several different songs that play through, and then there's definitely like nighttime songs because that's when like all the shit happens.
But what type of music is it? It's just like
It's
chip
like
tunes or
it's chiptune, but it's orchestrative. It's
Okay. Interesting.
it's not like chiptunes as in, but it's more, I don't know how to explain that.
Okay,
I don't know.
I got you. We won't ask you for musical direction ever again.
No, hold on. So if that's Chipton, can you give me some drum and bass? How does that? What does that
Oh,
sound
that's
like?
his favorite, actually.
Drum and bass?
Yeah, what does that sound like?
Well, like like that's
Look. This is the
Now
the,
give me some deep house. Give me some deep.
maybe that would be more
I'm
like
kidding.
deep house.
Any-
It really depends.
any sort of
That's more like
EDM.
hardcore.
yeah.
Look,
Yeah,
we're gonna do a
that's what-
test.
That's what I like to-
Any sort of EDM. Just repeat cats and boots.
Yeah,
Do
cats
it.
and boots and cats and boots and cats
Yeah.
and boots and cats and boots.
and cats and
That's
boots
And then
any
you
EDM.
just adjust the tempo.
Yeah.
Cats
There you go.
And boots and cats and boots and cats and boots. And, yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Or how hard the B's and the C's hit. Cats and
Maybe
boots and cats and boots.
There you go. That's deep house right there. You just did deep house
You
cats and boots.
There you go.
You did it.
We figured it out. Do your number 8, Co.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys. I don't think I've seen this. I mean,
Okay.
maybe cities.
City Skylines?
Yeah.
I wanted this on my list so bad, but I couldn't. For whatever reason, I couldn't justify it being there. But I absolutely love that game.
Dude,
It's the best zone out chill game ever.
Now, why does it say Cities XXL? And
It
not-
is Cities XXL.
Yeah, that's one.
City,
Oh,
it's
it's not
Cities
Skylines?
XXL.
Skylines is
Skylines.
the
Skylines.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Speaking of which,
okay.
they also just released like a snowpack.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they
they
did a
Yep.
whole bunch. But no, for me, this was a revitalization of the city building sim.
It was.
I have played all of the previous Sim cities to some degree. I was a big sim ant, sim farmer back in the day. I love that stuff. And when the new cities came out, I was very hesitant. I was like, okay, this is probably not going to be that much better. It turned out being what I wanted in sim games. Like it
It's an
did
awesome
so
game.
many things well, and it got to the point where everything was a lot more intuitive. The way that things worked was really kind of well laid out and well planned. Unfortunately, when I played it, there were some major issues with traffic and stuff like that. And
It launched. That was the biggest
Yeah.
issue. Was the traffic? Was
but even with those, it
Yeah.
was still a lot of fun. And what was
It
kind of
was.
interesting is even though there were major problems with that stuff, the game still offered sometimes not as intuitive ways, but ways to get around it. So for me personally, my cities would become these ridiculous roaded, like I would have intersections that just looked like you just took spaghetti and just right
How
on the
many-
ground. Like
how many times were you told to do a specific roadway intersection?
the back seating in cities
Wow.
was pretty rough.
I remember.
How many
I remember
times-
hearing about
Yeah.
this?
Yes.
How many times was the word roundabout said in your
Oh
chat?
no!
Because in mine it was over 1 billion.
And the worst part about the way I did it
A
was
literal billion words of a roundabout. Where's the
way-
fucking roundabout? I don't know, you dumbass. It's not in my city. I don't have. Anyway,
the way that I did it was not normal. Like I did,
Okay.
which just increased it.
Oh,
Like the
did
amount
you-
of back sitting. Like I don't know if you see one of the big cities, but like there was at one
Didn't you
point
just do
where
like off ramp, off ramp?
no, I had like off ramps onto off ramps because funny enough, that's what worked the best in the game.
Right.
So like if you see like in this one, well, there was a few of them where my off ramps would split up, curve out, and then go back in to alleviate pressure for the off ramp coming up on the left, which in real life would make absolutely no sense.
Yeah,
like you would
yeah.
never like that just wouldn't work. But in this game, it's like oh okay.
there's something so satisfying about this UI element. When you look down at the bottom right, kind of center of the screen, and you see both of those are green in the positive,
Yeah.
that is like, for whatever reason, it's just like, fuck yeah, like I'm winning at life.
I'm winning. I'm
Like,
winning. Yeah.
this is a good moment of the day.
Yeah.
And then when it
Yeah,
goes red, you're
totally.
just like, fuck,
Yeah.
we gotta fix everything.
You're sitting
all
there
going to
working,
shit.
You're working on some meticulous construction of a new part of your
Yeah.
city, and then it's just like, nope, everything stop.
Yeah.
Let me break the roads down so they don't go in there,
I
and then we're
also
going to go
love-
back.
Yeah, I also love just making dumb roads, like the highway, and just like trying to connect it in the stupidest way possible. Because the chat would go crazy. They're like, this doesn't make any sense. Because the highway would go like that, and
It's
then like
my
loop.
virtual city.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to make sense.
So you're trying to make
man.
Boston, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Which is the dumbest
I'm
street
glad this is
layout
on your
in any
list, though.
city ever.
That game's a lot of fun. And
I
the mod
spent so much
support
time,
is
man.
crazy.
Oh, see, I never
on-
even got into that. I heard good things, but I never.
It's crazy. Like I was watching Dan's Gaming played it sometime in December, I think, and he was like downloading all these different mods for it, things that like fix the traffic and things that would allow you to super micromanage traffic, so that it would be like you can make sure that this is a 4-way stop and everyone stops, or this is a red light that is more frequent than the other red lights or whatever. So you would never have like a huge shutdown.
okay.
Wow.
So it was really, really in depth mods.
Like a real city, like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like in downtown where I live, like every light is coincide. It's like
yeah.
red light and then green, and then you have if you drive the speed limit, you'll hit every green light all
Exactly.
the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Very
a
cool.
good game. Fun
Yeah,
game.
I had a lot of fun with it, and it really kind of it was just like I was saying earlier with like Fallout, how it grows out the genre. I felt like Cities really was taking it in the right direction. I spent tons of hours in it, and it's the kind of thing where with these new expansions, there's so many other games that I want to play. I've considered going back and playing this again, just to get
Especially
back into
after
it.
the colossal fuck up that was SimCity.
Well, I mean, right? Like
Yeah.
this
It
game
saved
was
that genre.
needed
It
because
saved the
of
genre,
that,
yeah.
right?
It's really kind of interesting because it was like dominoes with the horrible reception of SimCity, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden this new game comes out that's like all the bad stuff's gone,
Yeah.
and it's like I think that was a huge reason that it did so well, to be honest. So
Did you, the one thing?
He's
Oh
always
yeah, this
making
is my
eggs.
no. This is the start of my stream. I went to go make eggs.
Yeah.
This might be the city where the one thing, the biggest complaint about this game is there's no meteor strikes, or there's nothing bad that
Yeah.
happens. But
Yeah.
in my world, I sucked out all the water of this ravine and then put a neighborhood down there, and then destroyed the dam and then flooded everyone.
man-made.
I man-made a disaster. And I was like, all right, I made it. We did it. We can move on to the next game.
That's
like,
awesome.
It was awesome. That game's a lot of fun.
To be honest, that was one of the things that stopped me playing it. I got multiple cities to the point where I was just like, okay,
They were just done.
I've done everything I can in
Yeah.
this. Like, there's not much else for me to do. Like, I kind of missed that whole random little problems
Definitely
you have to deal
seems
with all
like
the
a
time.
flaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
a
always
little
fun. It's annoying, but like when a volcano just erupts in the middle of your city, like
Those were some of my best times
Yeah.
in SimCity, like 2000 back
Yeah.
in the day, where
Oh,
you just see it and you're just
brutal.
sitting there
Yeah.
watching it rise out of your city, like no,
Yep.
no, like that was a blast.
It was
Godzilla,
fun.
right? There's
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and the little
Godzilla.
eye thing, the eye monster.
It was Bowser, right? Wasn't
something like that.
Godzilla
I
Bowser?
forget.
Okay.
It was the. I'm glad that there's a sim game out of like a city builder.
Yeah.
Of that quality. And
Agreed.
I'm interested to see like where the genre goes.
I think they take it from here. I think the baton was passed.
I think
I really do. You know, I mean, like, let's keep in mind, after SimCity 4, what did we get? We got another iOS SimCity game, right? That's the direction they're going with that franchise.
Yeah, that's true.
Cities XXL and Cities and Paradox Interactive and all that, like, I think
Maxis
they got
went
it.
under because of that, didn't it? Wasn't that?
Well,
at the end?
Maxis got shut down, but yeah.
Right, but I
Yeah.
mean, they still own the IP,
Oh,
and,
it's true,
and
yeah.
EA Mobile's going strong, so it's like, whoop, right under there. Boom.
Yeah.
That game's not a full $60 release either, is right?
I don't remember. I didn't think so, but
I
I
thought
remember.
it was like a 30.
I think it was like a $30
$39
purchase,
or $30,
which is
yeah.
amazing because there's like hours upon hours upon hours
Oh,
in
yeah,
that game.
for sure.
So, what was your next game on the list?
My number 8.
Your number eight?
eight.
Is this the one that you said you were?
This is the one that I went kind of round and round about,
Okay.
and the reason why is because I didn't put a lot of hours into it, but the reason why it's on my list is because it struck a chord with me innovation wise.
Okay.
My number 8 was The Magic Circle. Now, The Magic Circle is
Whoa!
The Magic Circle is an indie game,
Whoa.
and it's a game that's
I'm
it's
hearing-
fourth wall breaking in
What
this
the
in the kind of style of sort of like
Is this the game dev one? No.
Yes.
Oh, it is.
This is well. Okay. They're
Okay. Sorry.
not okay.
I don't know what
The
this
premise. Okay. The premise of this game is it's fourth wall breaking, kind of like in sort of the style of Stanley Parable, kind of where you are. You're inside of a game. You're playing as the character in the game. However,
okay.
the game isn't finished yet.
I remember this.
You are in the game, and you see like little like eyes in the sky. Those are the guys making the game. Those are the game developers, and they're talking about the game as it's being made. And you like find little things. It's like find like little Easter eggs, like a note on the ground, and it says, "Hey, Frank, this is a place that's off limits to players, but they're gonna find it. So you need to build like a wall." So they can't get. I got here in my first playthrough, so you got to build a wall for this place, ASAP, because it's gonna break the game. They're gonna find a way to like skip areas, and we don't want that, and stuff like that. And you're in the game, and there's this like watchful like presence that you meet up with throughout the game, and you can like you have energy, like game energy. I remember exactly what it's called, but you can add color to places that the game developer has not finished making yet. Like, see, you see like
Changelog.
yeah, you see
That
you see like
is
things
fucking awesome.
You see like things from the game developer. So I had to delete the bridge. Sorry, Eric, but decided it was too advanced for the primitives in this area. I know it breaks connectivity, and you see like the conversations with these notes between the devs, the art directors, like all this kind of stuff. And as you're in the game, you come across these like interactable like creatures or objects. Now you can recode them, which is you take like a monster that has like, it's like a little dog monster. There's legs, teeth, and it attacks you. And you go and you capture it and you go into its code. And you're like, and it says like attack, melee, mobility, ground, this. And you delete that code and you take it and you keep it.
Wow.
And then once you're done doing that,
Is there a game mechanic to that aspect of it?
What do you mean? No, once you do that, once you take
It's
the
in the
code
HUD,
away.
I think is.
Yeah, no, like this.
There it is.
Once you take the code away from it,
Oh, okay.
I've given that mushroom the teeth that I took from the dog.
And
The
now
dog-
it
the dog
follows him
crazy
around
dog
and attacks
monster,
things.
And then I gave him mobility ground, so the mushroom is now hopping after me as my like companion, and it can attack with its teeth. Because
That game
I
is
took
bizarre, man.
but that's the way. When you take the code away from the dog will sit there with no legs and no teeth and just sit there because he can't move. Because you
Right.
took the code away from it. And it's
How
just-
long is this experience?
And that's the thing. I have not gone back to it yet. I played it for like 4 hours and never went back to it.
Wow.
And I want to.
And that's
I really,
a finished,
really want to.
completed.
It's not
Yeah.
early access or anything.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a completed game
Yeah.
as far as I know.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
It
I might have to go
sounds
check
like
that
a
out.
cool concept.
And that's why it made my list. I was struggling with it to make my list. The reason why I did is because the idea of it and like how you discover things, conversations, and like you'll hear them talking. Like there's eyes, like physical eyes in the game, and they're the developers like talking to each other. Like, how did he get this? And they don't even know that you're a real person.
What
a lot of time.
What was the other game like that? That I think I actually saw Lyric play it, but it's like something with the they're like you're going through the back, like the behind the scenes of a video game, and they're talking about like resetting scenes and stuff. Have you heard of this one? It seemed like it was a shorter game. I'm sure Chad is just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's that game, but it seems similar. I
nothing's coming to
thought
mind.
that's the game it was, but interesting.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason
Unique.
why I struggled with actually putting it on my top 10 list is because I didn't play a whole lot of it. But I've been always, it's one of those, like, I've always been meaning to go back to it. I want to go back to it every time I think about it, but I'm always in the middle of some other distractions or whatever. But that's one of those games that just really hit me. I was like, oh, this is a very, very cool, neat idea.
Yeah.
And it kind of messed with my head, like, oh, okay, the developers are actually watching someone who's in the game kind of trapped there, like discovering like glitches and shit and that kind of thing. It's great.
That's cool.
Yep.
Cool. I'll
Very
have to
cool.
check that
Love
out.
it. Yeah.
I think my number 8 will be on your list. I don't think it'll be on his. It might be on yours. I don't know. But this is a game. Emotional responses are very few and far between in games for me. In the first 5 minutes of this game, huge emotional response, and that's Ori and the Blind Forest.
Ori in the Blind Forest. Got an honorable mention for me. Didn't make my top 10.
Not
Same
only
here.
is it an amazing, like, emotional game, one of the best looking games out this year. Just the art direction of the game is fucking gorgeous. Everything, like, I will always remember there's a certain point in the game after you defeat a certain level, you fall down into something that was once like very gray and poisonous into now it's like an oasis, like a water oasis. And the ripples in the water and like running around in the water in a platformer looking that good has no right to look as good as it did. Like, it almost seems like it was like wasted in that sense because it's so fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then you add in like the platforming elements of this game, and I love that game. It was only about a 9 to 10 hour playthrough, I think.
Yeah,
So it was one and done. It was quick. I got it. I understood it, and I loved every part of it.
it barely got, because I lined up every single game I played and I just gave went down the list and was like, points. Is this one better than the one before? Points.
Yeah.
And Ori and the Blind Forest was like 11 or 12. It was very, very close, cracking my top 10. And it got, for me, it got an honorable mention for just style.
Yeah.
Just the style of the game and how it looked. It was gorgeous. The way the characters flesh out, the gameplay is really, really good. And I think the reason why I probably didn't make the top 10 for me is because I couldn't, it didn't affect me
Sure.
as much as as much as I could understand it affecting other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, oh, it's a great story about it, and it's got, good story elements, emotions, stuff like that. But it didn't have the punch, I guess.
Yeah. It the platforming elements for me, I think, were the most interesting because I watched the last year as well as this year at AGDQ, the speedrun of it.
Yep.
I think it was around like an hour 20 or something like that.
Wow.
But when you watch it, you watch these people do these jumps, and you're like, that just looks like it's supposed to happen that way. Like, it looks like the game is just being played normally. But having played it, you're seeing them do these crazy things with the mechanics of the game where you can do like double and triple jumps or continually jumping up a wall. You're like, how the fuck is that possible? and if the game has that much depth, I'm like, well, that makes sense because
Right.
it's amazing they were able to like develop that.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that it's one of the few dev houses where the team is from everywhere in the world, and there are people on that team that do not speak the other language and there's no way for them to communicate, but they made this game happen somehow. And for it to look as good as it did and play as well as it did, I think that's a huge feat.
And speaking of the devs, man, those dudes are fucking hands-on.
Oh,
They
yeah,
are.
yeah.
They are like the first time I speedrun at SGDQ.
Yeah.
They were there.
They were
in
there
the
on
call.
the Skype call, yeah.
Yeah. And that's I got to give kudos to anybody who's willing to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, and they were in constant contact with the people who were running their game, speed running their game, which they're the people who are running their game over and over again, and they were in constant contact with them. And I don't know if it's true, but I heard a story about there was a mechanic that kind of broke the game for speedrunners and allowed them to skip certain sections of the game, and they're like, oh, we should patch that, and then they spoke to the runners, and the runners were like, oh, don't, please
That's
don't.
a big
Yeah.
deal.
And they were like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, then we won't. Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Just an awesome game.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard.
I
That's-
remember hearing that as well
rumor.
on
Yeah,
that makes sense.
GDQ. But yeah, that was my number
I mean,
8. So.
it's kind of akin to strafe jumping in Quake, right? Because strafe jumping was actually an accident that happened with the
physics engine, yeah.
Yeah. And so when they got to Quake 3, interestingly enough, when Q3 test came out, which was their early way to do a beta, they, knowing that this was broken mechanic, even though like it was used in competitive play, right? You were a better player because you knew how to use strafe jump and gain speed that way.
Right.
I remember it was the funniest shit because they basically cut off your ability to strafe jump after a certain number of jumps. So everyone that was like good at movement in Quake would be like, jump, jump. And then it was just like hitting a fucking wall and you just stop. And we were like, and all it took was the community to be like,
Please don't do that.
fucking really? Can you turn that shit back on?
Yeah.
And then they turned it back on. Go id Software.
That's good stuff. All right, we'll just kind of keep in the order. 7 will be on your list, I think. I don't know about the two of you.
Okay.
But this is a game for me, having played so much Battle Royale in Arma 3.
Oh.
It was a genre that I just wanted to see done with a better engine and done right. And then Daybreak Games, before that was it Sony? SOE, yeah. Comes out with H1Z1. And that was back in February. Me and Cohen checked it out back then. And ever since that game has been on Steam, like, that's probably my most played game of this year.
Yeah.
And it's not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. There are gigantic fucking issues with that game.
Does a perfect game in that genre exist yet?
No, not at all.
But it was a great and solid attempt at it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it was.
like I have H1Z1 is my number 6.
Yeah.
And I have over 400 hours in it. Most of those are Battle Royale.
Yeah.
But
I think all mine are.
I had easily over 100 hours in the sandbox. Like, that was a huge amount of fun, where they were really trying to put in stuff like the building mechanics, and they were trying to make like this. They were trying to be the genre, but at the same time put enough unique stuff in to make it so it's its own product as well.
Yeah.
You know, everyone said it had that more arcadey feel, which a lot of people really liked. You know?
Yeah, it does have a more arcadey feel for sure.
But it was a lot of fun, and people ask me all the time, like, "Hey, Co, you don't play H1Z1 anymore. You know, do you not recommend it?" And I'm like, "Of course I recommend it. I paid like $20 for it, and I paid it for 400 hours. You know, and even now these days, I could easily drop back into a VR round.
Oh,
like
yeah.
some of my most intense streaming moments, no question, were in the
This game,
top
yeah.
5 of VR.
100%.
Where you're sitting there, your whole chat is just going crazy because they know it's coming. You're crouched down, your hands got that little shake to them because it's your first or second time up there.
This game still has
it was good.
The number one emotional response from me on stream. When I won my first BR in this game, I flipped the fuck out.
Yeah.
I lost my shit on stream.
I've never played this game. I've watched a fair amount, which I think is an instant nod to any game. It's like, hey, you got a player who's never played the game to watch this for an extended period of time. The H1Z1 Invitational at TwitchCon was like one of my favorite things. And you know
agree,
what?
dude.
I sat in the front row of the Kappa Theater, not really even seeing, because I've heard what the experience was like for people who were watching downstairs. It was like, oh, I loved it watching downstairs because I got to see each individual streamer pop off when they,
But, I have the best story.
I remember just being like, I am so entertained right now. I can't even believe it.
And they did a great job behind the scenes, too. Everyone knew what they were doing. They had, like, an exact way to exit, how to enter. You know, they were very cool about getting everyone set up. I got to say, call them SOE, call them Daybreak. That team understands how to interface with people like us.
100%.
And it's absolutely awesome.
And they had the crowd sourcing for, I mean, it's just like that to me now a top 10 list. Of course, I don't have this game on my list, but I appreciate it. Like when you play and then you could say, hey, they also added all this value to the community who loves the game, the streamers who play it, and the audience who watches that's really damn impressive that they were able to do that.
And to come out of the gate with this spectator UI at TwitchCon was just brilliant. Like it was so fun to watch. Favorite moment playing this game was winning it. Second favorite moment was at the Invitational, the second death in the second heat. When I died, I took my headset and like kind of threw it at the monitor and just screamed "fuck," and then everyone around me was like, I literally saw people back off. Because they were like, he's about to like flip out. And I was like, guys, I'm cool. Like, we're cool. Don't worry. We're great. We're great. They thought I was just going to flip my shit, like flip the table over and just walk out screaming. I almost did.
And you're not a small guy.
Yeah. Right.
You know, like, I'd be scared.
It was funny. It was real fun. I will always remember that time because like Gassy Mexican was right behind. He's like, I thought you were going to like punch the monitor, dude. Like I thought something was not going out of that room operable. So.
I played a little bit of it. I sunk some hours into it. The reason why I didn't like think about it for like a top 10 list is because the main thing that most people play is the battle royale, the BR of it, right?
Yeah.
And not only am I not good at competitive games per se,
Sure.
but that in and of itself makes me not really like drawn to competitive games because it's not. And that's the thing, I'm so competitive that if I can't like compete on like any sort of decent level, I had trouble getting into it. Like same thing with Arma,
Sure.
same thing with like a lot of like, PvP competitive games. I'm just not very good, and I can't accept that. I cannot accept that.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's why I didn't like sink like more hours into it, or I didn't think it was like when it first came out, like it was easy to like pick it up and play it, and it was a lot more user friendly than say like DayZ, because there's obviously DayZ has so much so much more intricacy to it than H1Z1. So H1Z1 was a lot of fun. But my favorite moment was the cars. Like me and him had a fist fight.
yeah.
We had cars, like it was night, so we had cars like put in a circle, and we were all like he had the coalition, and I had my people, and we had cars with headlights, and we were in the middle like.
We straight duked it out, man. We had music playing, man. It was awesome. Just from beginning to end, dude.
But it was
At the very beginning
really
of the game.
I love it.
On the non-BR servers, that was still like the itmePD, me and Scoots and Strippin driving around in a police car with our fucking sirens, just pulling random people over with these stupid accents, and then like making them get in the back and having stupid stories with them. Like, so much fun.
Yep.
It just creates like stupid.
Just doing the RP for
and
them.
see, what really speaks a lot to the game is, I spent 100 plus, maybe between 100 150 hours in the sandbox mode, never touched BR.
Yeah,
and then it's like, and then I started getting towards.
I think we tried to convince you to play it. Yeah,
yeah, and then I got towards the end of that, and I'm like, let me give this a try. I'm sure it'll be pretty cool. I played Arma a little bit. It was okay. I wasn't actually very big into the Arma version.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I started playing it, and I had a few like okay rounds, and then I had like a top 10 round, and I was like, oh shit.
Like, you got that little bit of intensity.
Yeah, you get that little taste. You're like, I haven't felt that before. I need to do this again. 300 hours later, man.
Yeah.
300 hours later, and it really speaks a lot to the game. How it's kind of versatile in the different levels and game modes.
And then like adding in the 2-player queue and the 5-player queue.
Yeah,
like, that's just it's so smart.
And what's even cooler is they did that in response to the community going, we need an outlet for teamers. There's people that want to do this. They can't do it anywhere. Like, this is a huge problem for us. And they went, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Then we'll put in different modes for that. And then no question the problem went down. Still there. They can't prevent that. But it went down.
Yep.
So it was really cool.
What was your number 7?
Oh, number 7.
Has it been revealed yet? Have we done it yet?
No. My number 7 was Until Dawn.
I thought this was going to be your number 1.
Interesting.
With how you talked about it.
Until Dawn. I had such... And I don't know if it was the game, because the game, solid. Good artwork, good atmosphere. I enjoy the voice acting and all this kind of stuff. And I enjoy the little in-betweens with the Cut Off Your Johnson guy from The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
I enjoyed those scenes and stuff like that. But I had so much fun with my chat playing this game and just in the just having fun with their facial expressions and just making like voices for them. Like, they'll change like the little nuances, and I'll just go like
The facial animations in that game are gorgeous.
Yeah. And I just had I don't know if I can really say that it would even crack the top 10 if I wasn't playing it on Twitch.
Right.
But I had so much fun.
So it was a creative outlet.
It was.
That definitely okay.
It was so much fun playing it, and I didn't mind
you didn't expect that when you started playing it on Twitch.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be another choose your own adventure horror game, whatever. Right. But it ended up being a lot of fun, and I didn't mind the story. I thought the characters were pretty well fleshed out. You loved some, you hated some.
Have you played Heavy Rain?
I played like an hour of it, and I was like,
one of my favorite things in Heavy Rain. I know you love that game.
I gotta get past that. Gotta get chasing the kid and let that game take you on a ride, bro.
Okay.
If you want one of the funniest things in Heavy Rain, is there's a scene where you're chasing someone through a supermarket. Just fail everything.
Okay.
It's one of the funniest things in the world because you can get through the supermarket with failing everything, but your guy will walk 3 feet and like slip, then he'll stand up and walk 4 feet and then just like slam into a wall, and it's just like a nonstop roller coaster of just fails over and over and over, and then you complete it. And it kind of like shits on the game a little bit because obviously you want to complete all that.
Right.
It's funny as fuck just watching this guy fail over and over.
Yeah. If you liked Until Dawn and you liked potentially what you could get out of it with your chat, I think that you would be blown away by Heavy Rain. And plus, there's actually some super intense shit that happens in that game.
I've heard.
You're in the house, yeah, for sure.
Like,
Did
dude,
anyone else-
I think the bear in the car is that shit is seriously. I was like, first off, I can't drive for a week. Second off, I need to actually stop playing video games, right? Just for an hour, I need to be recentered. It was amazing.
Did anybody else play Until Dawn?
I did play Until Dawn. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that kind of degree with chat interaction. For me, I approached it as, hey, let me turn the lights off. Let me treat this as a suspenseful thriller. And what I got is kind of I felt like there was a little bit more high school drama that really needed to be there.
A little bit,
and
yeah.
I also felt really that it was
Right.
just a really pretty Telltale game.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't shake that it was trying to be something else, but that's really what it was. It wasn't really trying to push it forward. It was trying to change it. And don't get me wrong, I had a good time. I think I lost like 3 people at the end. I was pretty involved with it, but it didn't really grab me. It didn't really grab me.
I think that game for me was kind of the H1Z1 effect for you, where I just enjoyed watching people play it. I watched your full playthrough. I've watched Lyrics. I watched Dodger and Strippin. Dodger's the worst player of that game of all time. Let's just put that out there, yeah. If Dodger has that controller, you're going to die.
Also, don't make her the leader if you're in some sort of a, murder type situation.
Exactly.
Got it.
I'm sorry, Dodger, but it's... but yeah, I loved watching people's playthrough of that. And I haven't played it myself, but I know everything that can happen now.
Right, sure, yeah.
And so I probably won't. But if you've never seen it before, definitely go check it out.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Either watch it on Twitch or go play it yourself.
And it's not super duper long. Like
it's like 10, 12 hours.
Yeah, I took a lot of time. I'm sure because I usually do that with any game that I play and finish. And I think it was like 12 hours, something like that.
Yeah. I'm glad it was on. I figured it would be higher on your list though, with how you talked about it. But
I really really liked it a lot, but it didn't have anything that was that for like upper on the list. I either had to spend hours and hours and hours and hours playing it, or it had to affect me in an emotional or mental capacity that
it warranted to be on the
list.
It
warranted it. Like it changed the way I thought about something, or it was like the funnest thing I've ever picked up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, Cohh.
Cool. What number are we on?
We're on 7.
7.
Are you...
7, baby.
Okay, now here's a game that I think had a big blast of hype very temporarily, and then kind of dissipated rather quickly. And I can tell you that I haven't heard or talked about it for a while, except the new stuff coming out for it, which is pretty recently. And that's Dying Light. I thought
very beginning of the year.
Yeah, it really was. But I got to say that it really kind of, to me, defined the kind of parkour zombie. I always thought when I played zombie games that it felt kind of rigid. And Dying Light is basically the solution for that, in my opinion. It was the answer to that.
That was the Mohawk days for Cohh. That was a long time ago.
that was a while ago. So, the weapon crafting component was really interesting. I kind of like the lock picking stuff. The story was
you liked it because it's fucking Fallout fucking lock picking. Jesus Christ.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But there was a lot of things about it that just worked in the package, and I thought the overall vision was pretty developed. And also, it was one of those games that I just liked running around in.
Yeah,
it felt good to move.
It felt good to move around that game. And one of the reasons that that kind of made me think about it recently is they have this big new expansion coming out.
They have like a multiplayer mod or some shit.
No, not they're apparently like adding a huge amount of area. Like they're coming. It's like a mini expansion, but I think it's like a DLC or something. But I'm actually excited to go back to it. I was thinking a few days ago.
By the way, can I just say, like, Cohh keeps looking down at his card. There's no like notes or anything on his card. It's just the top 10.
Don't spoil it.
You keep looking down on it. I'm wondering why you keep doing that. There's nothing else on the card besides.
I have
the top
a horrible
10 list.
memory. I have to remind myself what number we're on. Thank you for
I'm
making
just
that clear.
Why you're doing that? Because he keeps looking down on it. It's like this is on the card right here, and he keeps looking down on it, like. I'm just wondering why you're doing that.
All right.
I thought it was funny. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Look, it's a tick.
I played Dying Light, and I loved it. And one of my favorite moments of the year came out of it when we did the weapon creation.
Yes.
And every new weapon I would do a Billy Mays commercial for. Billy Mays here for the magic fire knife. Do you have zombie problems? I don't. Not with the new magic fire knife. Yeah, and I would just go up, and I love that shit.
And dude, the weapons were sometimes so ridiculous.
Yes, they were.
They were completely broken in some aspects.
Oh
of the
yeah,
game.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But no, it was. Hold on, let me just check my card here. It was really fun for a lot of reasons. And again, it comes back to kind of like the whole package where there were just so many parts of it that were fun and engaging that the overall vision was really cool. I unfortunately was so disappointed in the very last little bit.
With the
I
ending, or what?
I don't want to spoil it, but like I kind of was really hoping with all these cool components of it that the last kind of big fight encounter would be some epic thing, and it was like a quick time event, and I was so disappointed.
Oh, I remember that was a huge point of
I remember because when that
contention.
scene was done, I was like, okay, where's the bot? Was that?
Oh.
Like it like ended with an so,
Yeah.
But the reason it made my list and the reason that it's pretty well at my list at 7 is I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I searched every little bit of that city. I was at one point considering 100%ing it, which it's big. It's a pretty big game.
Right.
And I thought it was fun. It was a good time.
It's one of those games I never went back to, but I should have.
That's how
Me
I
too.
feel.
I feel the exact same way about that. I
Because
had
moving
such
around
a
in this
blast
world is
playing
so
it.
good. Yeah.
And like when it becomes night and you're not like super
It's
powerful,
fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah.
you have
Yeah.
like there's no fighting. It is run or die.
Wow, those
Like,
were
if you're
so big on the
starting
screen. I
out.
forgot about that.
Yeah, and well, dude, and the parkour is first person parkour is fantastic.
Yeah,
I had such
sure.
a blast with that.
That was a good game. One of those games I got to go back and play. Maybe with the new stuff they're putting out, that'll warrant.
Yeah, I have high hopes for them. I
Return.
heard they're really kind of they're taking it. They're kind of taking everything and just making it bigger, which is really cool. So
Sure.
Did you play it?
I didn't, which is
There you go.
actually surprising because between like Dead Island,
Yeah, you're like
Dead
a
Island
huge
2, like,
zombie guy.
I'm not sure. I think it was like a timing thing where it was one of those things where it like came out while I was at an event, and that's like always a game killer for me. And in fact, there's probably going to be a couple games on upcoming that I'm guessing will fall into that, but we'll talk about that anyway.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I never got. But I mean, definitely, I like killing zombies and that sort of shit.
It's a great game for doing that.
Yeah,
Sure.
Definitely. Maybe.
What's next on
okay.
Leap's list?
What are we on?
7.
7. This one's easy, right? From playing to watching to the third aspect, which I've never done, creating. Like this game fit every single. It hit everywhere. It is a square, a circle, and a triangle peg that just happens to go into every single hole. And that's Super Mario Maker. Like I never in a million years thought, yes, I will sit down and I will have a hilarious amount of fun just doing a 100-man Mario run on expert. Like that is, they killed it, right? Like this is just more proof that Nintendo has either the most brilliant people in the world or they have the best like magic mushroom farm, and they are feeding these guys and putting them in closets saying, come out with the most game-changing idea you can.
This was like the salt generator for me. Like the amount of when I would do
the salt factory
when it first started, the amount of and these are the easy levels, and I was probably, if you admit it, it's probably still going to be a fuck every other word. Like it created so much rage and salt just from people making the trolley levels.
JP,
but it's amazing. I loved it.
Let me add to that too, because watching a lot of Super Mario Maker, I really discovered who is good at Mario games and who's absolutely trash at Mario games on Twitch. And I'm actually happy to be in the not totally trash because I played so much Mario Brothers. Growing up, that's like all we had to play.
Yeah. This is one of the more timid levels.
Yeah, this looks like baby.
This is the first day it came out.
Like,
you weren't crouching down on that white thing to try to fall behind it, were you?
No, I definitely had the thought of doing that.
And then to seeing what they did with it, well, actually, my first exposure was also at the Nintendo World Championships, where they had two big speedrunners playing, and I was definitely like, wow, this is kind of the future of blind levels and having fun with it in that regard, and all sorts of cool. And then we saw AGDQ races,
that was
which
one
was
of the most
super
I was live
entertaining.
there for that, and that was one of the most hypest things.
It's great. Yeah.
The entire week.
This is a game game to me that has like a ridiculous long year life cycle, because no matter what, you sit down and play it today and then do that again for the next 20 days, it's probably likely that you would never play the same level twice. You're going to play some shit. Sorry.
You're going to play some bad levels,
crap. But in just the thinking about that, and like, you know, how are user generated games? You know, this is the kind of thing that I think the developers of Little Big Planet wanted to happen.
This is like a successful Little Big Planet.
Exactly. And just incredible.
It appeals to everyone because A, Mario, you know, can't go wrong. B, it has like the difficulty levels are so wide. You have the levels where you don't move and you just enjoy the ride, and see like what the people have done. You don't even touch the controller, and then you have arguably the most difficult platforming ever created.
Yes, and only getting harder as people get
exactly.
I think we were watching TriHex last night. I think the best way to sum up Mario Maker is "fuck you, Japan." All the Japanese levels in this game are so either annoyingly difficult or like you missed one thing, you got to restart the level. But it's awesome because that stuff exists.
Yeah.
Like it's such an amazing thing that game exists how it is.
It's great.
I had a lot of fun with it. It wasn't on my list. I don't think it was on either of y'all's.
Nope. I actually have never played it.
And it's because it's the round and round thing. Like, is it a game? Is it? You
know,
you make it. It's
a fair question.
It's like
yes, it is a game because you're playing.
You hand someone Lincoln Logs. This is a game. Is it? Because that's
different. It's a little bit different.
I made a Lincoln Log.
You can go back and play the game that other people have made.
I understand.
But is it a sandbox? Is it just a bunch of tools that you play with?
It's a tongue-in-cheek thing, and I understand like why it's a game, and I'm not being like purposefully obstinate, but like there was a poster I saw that summed it up best at one of like a game developer's place, and it had Mario Maker box art, and it said, "You fucking do it."
Yeah.
You know what? Like,
that's pretty good.
And first off, it is funny. But second off, like, this is actually just a simplified version of what game developers have done for years, right?
Yeah,
like, I played a shitload of Quake mods, Unreal mods, you know, Skyrim mods. Like, you think about all the different modifications. Like, someone actually said, well, what if we just, you know, Little Big Planet tried to do it. Even still, really tough. Like, they took their most basic property that has still a lot of depth. They gave people the tools to create it. Like, to me, this is a piece of the future of gaming, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Look at what people build for Minecraft. I see what people build for games like Roblox. You just see like this, like game development starting really earlier and earlier and earlier. Yep. And some kid is making a Mario Maker level right now that will end up being the next big level designer in, you know, 2028. And that to me is fucking amazing. Yeah. That, you know, this could single-handedly like push someone in that direction.
Yep.
They did everything right. It's so hard to find shit wrong with the game. Because if it is, it's like some dickhead from this country made this stupid level.
That's what I love the best is that you like when you see the flag of where they're from, you know what you're gonna get. You're like, what the fuck, Russia? Like, what the fuck are you doing? What is this trash? Like, why the fuck does this?
How the fuck is this on expert?
Troll
this
levels,
bullshit.
Some of those troll levels are brutal.
Oh, they are.
I remember one of the first times I saw Mario Maker was a pretty good speedrunner, and he was sitting there trying to reason his way through this level, and he got to a point where he just kept getting the same point over and over, and finally one guy in chat's like, "Oh, I played this level. Just go back to the beginning and jump up and hit that, and then you crawl up it, and then you just run across the top.
Yeah.
And then you just drop down and you're done."
That's what I love.
And dude, he almost just turned the game off, and it was just kind of like, oh man, because he was like wrestling. He's like, okay, I could do this jump, and then I could throw this up, jump off that, and then if I hit this button, then those are trying. And he was like coming up with all these really complex, cool ways to do it. Couldn't do that.
See, so what's awesome is that we watch TriHex. The new meta is these guys are so good that as they're seeing a level blind for the first time, they now are like checking for like a part of the process is, okay, there's a pipe there. Something could be above it. Can I jump in it? No, there's nothing above it. I can move forward, right? But even then, we saw one time get to a point, it's like, oh, bastards gave me a star that I picked up, and then I killed the mob that I needed to finish the level. So, you know,
that was
like,
the fuck you Japan level.
right. And he like gets to the end, it's like, all right, it's like I needed that Koopa. I was like, man, that again is just really,
That's great. That's
really
great.
cool.
It's a cool game. I
like
want to see what happens like a year from now.
I am really
with
surprised
that
it's
game.
not on your list because I know that
I
you
really
spent
loved
a lot
it.
of time playing it.
But yeah. It was one of the like. There are a lot of games that are right there at the cusp on the list, and I guess once we reveal it all, we'll have like the honorable mentions that we can just discuss for a little bit. But you're number 6.
Number 6.
You can look at the card. You have a
I can look at
reason
the card
to.
now?
Wait a
Yay.
minute. He did.
Oh, wait, no.
You did your 7.
I did my 7.
Oh,
you
did
did
6.
6.
My 6
Yeah.
is H1Z1. So
Oh, okay, perfect.
Okay, I'm doing my 6, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
with the-
Okay,
yeah.
so another mobile edition, and actually, I think this one ended up winning some awards after the fact, and this happens quite frequently in mobile games. I look at something, I see its icon, I'm like, that's a fucking dumb icon, and I will not download this game. And iOS developers, I swear to God, we judge books by their cover when it comes to iOS games.
I do that
So-
with Steam games.
Oh God!
That's
So I skip, and then a buddy who I, like from back home, always appreciate his suggestions. Was like, this game is right up your alley, and I'm like, oh really? I've skipped it for the last 2 weeks. He's like, try it. It's called Her Story.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And-
that's a mobile game?
Yeah. It came on mobile first.
Oh, okay.
Is it on Steam now?
I played it on,
yeah.
I played it on Steam.
I didn't even know
Okay.
that was mobile.
Months
I've heard
ago.
that a bunch
I didn't know it was mobile either.
That's interesting because, right, like when you think about Her Story from a mobile experience where I'm like playing it on the road or in piecemeal versus sitting down, because that does change the experience a little bit, right? And again, to me, I love this because it was an experiment in game design.
Yeah.
Like a really solid experiment. And the basis is there is a crime, there is an interview with someone who may or may not be involved with it, and there is evidence to go through. The thing is that like you have to rely on details, right? To like, when was this interview given? Like what day, what time? How did this court? Yeah, and the way they all bring it together is amazing, but she's the star. Because you know what? She's the only person in this game. You've played this, so you know.
Yeah.
And to do what she did and not overdo it, but not underdo it, is a really amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, there's something to be said about the actress's subtlety.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
So, this is more of a gather information, make decisions based off of what you gather. You're not going to find flick mechanics or, like it is.
Right.
It is truly a game-based story.
Did you
Story-based game? I don't know.
Did you complete the game?
Yes, of
Without
course.
spoiling it, do you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Without spoiling it?
Yeah.
I love the game from start. Yeah.
Okay.
A thumbs up for sure.
Interesting.
I liked it all the way up, and then I was like, a big question mark over my head, like,
Sure.
really? Because I was like struggling, and then the chat like was helping me out. I went, really? All right.
I see, like, and again, and this is something to be said. I don't know how that game experience is if I'm playing it on stream with my chat. So, like, this is probably one of those odd ones, right? Where,
I played it with a buddy, and we were like RPing like detectives. Like, all right, and we were like old detectives. Like, now you tell me the truth, and we play a clip. Like, oh, you're lying ass bitch. I get too old for this shit. It was great.
That's
but it was great, and we were listening. Like, I picked up on the story and all this kind of stuff, and I had a lot of fun. But when it came time to like is what, and the chat was like,
I totally get where
that, yep. And
Yeah.
I went, and we both were like, really? Okay.
Huh.
But yeah,
Interesting.
Did you ever play it?
I did not ever play
Yeah,
it. No.
we both never
No.
played it, so we don't.
For,
have
mine
any
was
input.
mine was for a different reason though, because I watched my buddy Ello stream another game that had this like really obnoxious British detective,
You watched? Yeah, I know. What
and
the
I
game
thought
is,
that was this game, So I was like, there's no way I'm touching that game.
I remember that story.
Oh my god,
What game
dude.
was it?
I don't know, but there's this guy and he's
it's another F&V game. I can't think.
You know how you just made the point how she never overdoes it? That's all this other guy does.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's so
but,
anyway.
But it's, yeah.
Maybe I'll need to check it out. But the problem is, as I've been warned by my community more than a couple times, if I were to play it at this point, like chat would just be.
You get back.
That's that's the hard part. You know, like for the most part, everything on there is something I had on stream, experienced on stream. This is definitely one of those. If I made a recommendation, it's just like just play it on your own.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's better experience that way.
All right.
Well, another reason why I didn't make my top 10 is because the replayability is kind of not there.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Oh, yeah,
I bought it on.
once,
I bought it on iOS for $2.99. So
Right.
I was like,
There you
okay
go.
with that.
Can't beat the price,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
So your
My
sixth was
sixth was H1Z1.
H1Z1. Your sixth?
My 6. Undertale.
I was wondering. I was wondering when this would come up on your list.
Number 6, Undertale.
I think you're the only. Have you played it yet, Wheat?
I told you I started
Oh, that's
playing
right.
it on stream, and after 2 hours, immediately made the decision that the rest of the game I would play off stream.
Yeah.
Simply,
Now, why was that?
What?
Why was that?
Because I don't know much about the game, but even with chat knowing not to backseat and not to spoil, even my own kid, like, right? Like, it's still like, I just want to experience the game. I don't know what even is right and wrong, so
Yeah.
why should you tell me what is right and wrong? And I feel like this is a game that you just have to experience and process on your own.
Yeah.
And the moment that you add in,
look.
the moment that you add in like an external feedback loop, I think that it's almost like being incepted by chat, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like then it's like, oh well, if I don't have this opinion that apparently everyone in chat has, like, is this game gonna suck or what? So I was just like, yo, I don't like. There's something magical about this game because everyone's talking about it, and people that I respect are saying it's fantastic. But maybe this external feedback is like not helping me.
I think
in that. Does that make sense at all?
I will let you splooge about the game soon, but I think for me
I'm
and
going
Co
to
as
let
well.
you finish.
I think for me and Co as well, like we had the same kind of effect that we just
Is that
described.
so? I'm
Yeah.
not sounding crazy.
No, not at
No.
all. Not at all.
Okay,
In
good.
fact, I got 6 hours in. I got like
Yeah.
almost to the
He
point where it
almost
was
finished
ended.
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
And for me, it was very much I could understand why the people liked it that liked it. And I think a lot of it was because of their perspective during it, that kind of uncovering that discovery.
Yeah.
But, you know, I went in with it kind of with high expectations. I was really looking for something new. You know, I'm all about like taking a genre and like pushing it forward. It didn't have enough for me to personally get really invested in it. I didn't feel that connection with it
Yeah.
that a lot of people that have played have told me. You know, the humor was kind of cute and kind of funny, but it wasn't really my style. And, you know, it got to the point where I felt like I was just like I'd come to a city and I'd be like, oh, great, now I got to talk to all these people, you know, and it didn't connect with me. It
Okay.
didn't connect with me. But, you know, I completely understand why people like it.
Yeah.
And more importantly, I understand why people would kind of champion it because there isn't a lot like it. And it is very unique. And if that is your comedy style, if that is the kind of stuff you want, if you like that commentary that it's making, it's a home run for a lot of people. So
Yeah. Please finish, Zeke. We totally
Zeke, have you
stole
played
No.
Undertale?
No.
your soapbox.
No. Okay, listen. There's no soapbox. There's no preaching. There's no nothing. It's not. I'm not going to shit on anybody who doesn't like the game. I understand why people don't necessarily like the game.
Right.
The graphics are garbage. The humor is like
Hit or miss,
The
a
humor
little
is like any humor.
Yeah.
It's like it jives with you or it doesn't. Like some people, you rip a giant fart and like half the people will be like laughing their ass off. The other half be like, oh god, a guy or whatever.
Yeah.
But the reason, like, there's a couple of things that really drew me in to while I was playing the game. One was the combat system, which a lot of people really didn't like. I liked the pacifist playthrough because there was a lot more like cool, funky like dialogue choices. Like you look at and they give you like choices like it's like you could flirt with the guy or you could like pose against him and stuff like that. Like one of the monsters I fought the most was a seahorse with muscles.
Sure.
And you would pose, and he would pose back at you, and then you'd pose back at him, and then he would pose himself off of the screen, and that was it. Like that's how you beat him. He would pose up and see like shit like
gotta
that.
ask
Like
you a question.
that's absurd, and it's funny to me.
Did you how much did you know going into it?
I knew the hype. I knew there's a lot of people who really liked it.
Did you even know what a pacifist run was going into it?
Nope, I didn't.
See, that's my problem.
Not only did I know that, but I knew at the beginning that my gameplay was restricted because I had to choose one of those paths.
Yeah,
and that was like, to me, I was like, I should have never been fed that information because immediately it changed my approach. Like, I knew something that I was supposed to discover,
right,
and that was like stolen from me in a way, right?
That's a really good point.
Well, the reason why I went that way is because, not because it was ruined for me, but I made the choice in the beginning of the game because at the very beginning, one of the first encounters you have in the beginning of the game says you don't have to fight.
That's what I.
Well, good. I won't fight for the rest of the game then. That's great. And then it just so happened that was the right choice for all the dialogues and the jokes and.
So the funny thing is, like,
guess.
I interpreted that as you don't, great. I don't fight. Okay, I've heard some things that makes sense. There's a pacifist, there's a genocide. Okay, yeah, sure. But then I got to a guy that I actually killed, and my kid was like,
"What the?
Why did you kill?" And chat was like, gee. And I'm just like, if I'm learning this game, and a part of that is like what is happening, and and
everyone's chanting ruined, 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 and
that just like suddenly my experience has been altered. So it's been interesting. I don't think it's the most amazing thing I've ever played. I don't think it's crap.
Sure.
I've enjoyed my time with it. I look forward to finishing it, but I'm definitely doing it off stream to just complete out the adventure.
And another thing that biased me towards it is I like the opportunity in any game if it's just text. I relish the opportunity to put voices in for all the characters. I made a voice for Sans. I made a voice for Flowey. I made a voice for my favorite voice was Dr. Freak. She was the lizard scientist lady, and she would come in and flirt with
a little bit of your Bill Cosby, yeah.
And that's I love that, and it gave them life.
That's the perfect game.
It gave them life in my head,
That's
and it
awesome.
also gave them personalities and stuff.
Makes sense.
I love that.
So
there you go. Yeah. I think a lot of people.
And
probably,
the music was really good too.
Oh, music.
The music, I will say, I think everyone can agree.
There were a few
great.
boss fights, especially where
the last boss
is good, man.
Last boss, best music.
Yeah,
maybe
fantastic.
best song of the year for me. That's super good.
Yep,
super good.
Awesome.
My number 6. You guys will probably laugh at me for this. Life is Strange.
I couldn't get past the first chapter. Everyone said go back, but I got to the first chapter and I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore, man.
I played the first 2 chapters and it was definitely like I'm playing a Telltale game about high school. Like what is going on?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And then the story hits this point in episode 3 where you're just like, whoa, like, okay, that's a really cool thing that just happened. Let's see where this goes. And then episode 5 starts and you're just like, whoa, like this game got real fucking crazy right now. And there's moments as well as episode 4. There's like very, very many moments in the game where you just hit huge emotional responses.
Sure.
The end of episode 2, I think, is one of the best, like, crazy fucked up moments this year for me. The end of the game, both endings resound. They worked for me, but the true ending, which I think a lot of people know what I'm saying when I say that, like, sucked really, really bad to make that, like, happen. Because it happens and you're just like, fuck, man. Like, I know that's what the developers wanted to happen. I know that's what should happen, but, like, fuck. Like, I just watched that happen, and that's because I made that choice. But that's probably what the character would do. And I found myself doing that a lot, too. Like, what would Max do in this situation? And I was like, why the fuck am I doing that?
Go back and do it again. Go back and give it another shot.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
There are moments in that game
I will then.
Episode 1 is like, it teases a little bit of, like, what you can do in that game.
Right.
And then it's still like a story game. It's still like a Telltale game.
Sure.
You're making choices and you're kind of moving the story along as that goes along.
Sure.
But the elements that happen and the different things that happen in the story are just like really, really impactful. One of the best moments was your best friend's on like critical care, and the decision is, do you pull the plug or do you let her just be a vegetable?
Whoa.
And you're like, well, I can't make this decision. Like, what the fuck is this? And I pulled the plug. And then I went somewhere else.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
That type of and that's not even the end of the game. That's like episode 3 or 4. But it's like those type of you don't get to see those decisions ever in games, and like there are a ton of them in that game.
Sure.
And then like the big finale was just like what, like it caught everyone I've seen played it caught me super off guard. It caught all of them off guard
Oh
as well.
man, it makes me want to go back to it.
Yeah, I really
give it
really
another
enjoyed
shot.
it, and I typically a lot of the games on my list I did not enjoy. Like I normally don't enjoy those style of games, but that game and another game that's later on in the list, like they just had like really really good moments in storytelling. I think and that was a great one. You keep laughing. What is this?
You know why I'm laughing, dude. So I'm pretty sure A, this game has been ruined for me because of JP.
No, not at all.
And B, I think it had, but it's okay. It's okay. B, I like as JP was playing the final 2 chapters of this game, I suddenly started getting like a bunch of really fucking weird tweets.
Oh yes.
And like people saying things during my streams, and I'm just like it's not. I
Yes.
don't know, and I
You're
don't
an
have.
inside joke or something?
No,
I resemble a character.
Did you? I was gonna say, did you voice a character
So
in it or
no,
something?
but people were just saying things in reference to the character to me,
okay.
right?
Wheat
so I was
resembles
like,
a very important character in the game.
Gotcha.
That turns out to be like.
Wait,
Don't spoil it.
is
Don't
that-
spoil
I'm not gonna spoil it.
No,
but
no, but not the teacher from the first, like the
He
first
has an
chapter.
he's the
important
teacher
part.
from the first episode.
Yeah, the teacher. Okay,
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah.
right. But it
I
was
can
just
see
this
what they're
weird.
saying,
And
yeah.
so the
it's
entire
like,
playthrough, instead of calling him by that name, I'm just like, "Fucking Wheat, what are you doing?" And so then everyone tweeted at him because of that. But yeah.
No, I could totally see it because I got through the first chapter. Well, maybe up till the end, close, but I could totally see it because he's right at the beginning of the story.
Yeah. And it makes me so happy that I didn't play the game as it was coming out, because some of the cliffhangers are just like table flip inducing rage because you want to see what happens in the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
But they just have these huge cliffhangers.
All right.
And so now that they were all out, like it was awesome to just play through that. And
I'll go back.
I think I did that in 2 sittings or 3 sittings, something like that. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Either you played it at all?
No, but it's definitely the type of game I would play. I think it is partially
It
with
seems
JP,
right up your alley.
like
Yeah.
I would rather wait for it to be done and play, even though there's obviously like spoiler potential there. But you wait long enough and just play it.
Yeah.
It's a
about
fun
that.
game.
For me, like I tuned in on a few streams on release, and I probably saw like a good like 15 minutes of it, because at the beginning I was like, I don't want to spoil it.
Right.
And all I saw was the high school drama. Like,
See, and that's the thing
all
is,
I
that's
saw.
all I
And it
saw.
was like the biggest turn. I was like, I
watched-
don't want to go. I don't care. I got to a point where I was like, I don't care how good the story is. I don't want to go through that.
I watched probably 20 streams that played the first episode without ever playing the game, and then when I finally played it, like it hits a point in the game where you're just like, what? Like, why is that happening in this game? And I was just blown away. I was just blown away. Because
Also,
you
of
don't
course-
expect it at all.
Of course, I tuned in to a buddy who was playing, I think it was probably the last episode. And right when I drop in, everyone was like, it was! And I was just like, God.
See, yeah.
And there we go.
Butler.
And there we go. I know, right? With the
And that-
candlestick. Yeah.
That reveal doesn't even, I mean, it spoils a little bit, but there's still just like, there's so many other moments in that game that are super impactful. So,
Interesting.
Good. That's good. What is next on my list? Okay, so this is one that didn't happen until like right at the last minute. I think it didn't actually click until right at the last minute. Of,
This is your 5 or 6?
This is number 5. In 2015, and it's Rainbow Six Siege. And I actually would have put this much higher if this list could have been altered today, because that game is just it's one of the best FPSs to come out in several years. It is such a good fucking
That is
game.
my number 5.
When did you make the list?
Nice.
10 days ago. I've played it so much since then.
Yeah,
but
dude,
I've-
Last
that
10
FOV
days,
is
he would
insane.
change the location of it.
yeah, like
Wow, okay.
there are moments in this game where you pull off a shot and you're just like, it's the best fucking feeling in the world. Like it, and I haven't had that in an FPS in so long. I started out playing the game with a shield.
Mm-hmm.
I will never play with a shield ever again after like playing with the different operators, just because it doesn't work. But
Oh, see, I love the shield.
but that's the thing is the game has so many different ways to go about what your objective is of like getting the hostage or killing everyone, that it has so many different play styles in it. And one thing I was talking to Weed about last night is like the defending and the attacking aspects of it. I really think that the defending aspect is probably the least fun when it comes to the two. Like attacking that game is so much more fun because of the way the level design works, and because you can go like, I'm going to take this wall out and I'm going to go in that way, or I'm going to take this wall out, go upstairs, make another hole in the wall, and then sit there and wait for one of them to peek and see if I can try to get a shot before going in.
Sure, yeah.
Like there's so many different ways to like think about tactically going in and doing something that it's just mind-blowing.
You guys, that was one of the big things that they were selling on this game when it first appeared at E3, and it almost looked so good that it wasn't even believable. If you remember that footage, do you feel like they actually built like, because that's
100%. And the thing is too,
it's interesting.
Everyone gave them shit for that because the commentary seems so canned, where it's like,
oh, and it was.
All right, I'm gonna blow the door in 5 seconds here. That shit happens in multiplayer.
Yep.
It just happens organically,
especially with
like,
people you know.
Yeah,
I'm playing with after like you know, like it's kind of the point where I was going to pass on this game. I'd played a lot of the alpha. You guys probably heard this story before if you've watched Drop Frames.
Yeah.
And you know, I was pretty much the first few weeks on Drop Frames. I said, you know, I'm not really playing it, not really interested. And then I sat down with it one night and I just completely fell in love from all the different operators, all the new maps. When it came out, unfortunately, it had like a whole bunch of bugs with joining. It was a total mess. A few weeks after I started, they fixed that up. Now it's been so much better. There's still little problems here and there, but it's been so much better. The custom games, so easy to get into.
Yeah.
I mean, people can just join right on you. You pop in, you're playing with 10 of your buddies or 9 of your buddies. And but yeah, just like you said, JP, the amount of different ways you can approach a situation. I probably played some of these maps 200 times. Almost every time I play them, I learn something new about them.
Yeah.
Either a new place to pop a hole or a new place to attack from, or
You mentioned popping a hole. That is one of the craziest things in this game when it comes to defense. Is you can block off areas of the map of entry into whatever you're defending by just going up and like meleeing a wall, and then you just watch for someone to walk by.
Yep.
And the second they walk by, you just unload on the door, and then you get a kill, and you're just like, fuck yeah. Like, that's fucking
or if you're
amazing.
crouched down at the end of the room and you see those feet and you hear the as they're setting up a bomb in the wall, and you're just like, nope, and you're just right down the center, and they're it's
such a good feeling.
And also not only that, but the assortment of operators on both sides, and there's so many different things you can do with some of them. There are some operators that are kind of seen as the worst, you know, like IQ and stuff like that. But there's a few operators where you not only have the selection of picking the operator, but then how you choose to utilize that operator. I've seen, like, there's one operator that plants this big gun.
Yeah.
And I've seen, most people say it's terrible. Yeah, Tachanka. But I think that's actually the name of the Krogan planet in Mass Effect. I always get confused.
Like that.
So, but anyway, and you know, most people don't even touch them because they're like, you can put it down whenever it sucks. But then every so often you find that one guy
who knows
that just knows that perfect spot for it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden that dude gets 4 kills. And you're just like, well, shit.
And it's because he'll have like a wall where he'll mow down that wall in like a circle and just have a giant hole that he just watches for people to poke through.
Yep.
One guy walks through, he's dead instantly. The other guy's like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, God. And then he gets shot, and he'll fucking die immediately. Then someone will try to, like, wrap around, and he'll just spray the entire wall and just get a bunch of kills. Like, it's awesome.
I meant to ask you about this last night. JP was telling me a little bit about it, and to, you know, sort of snake oiling it to me, and which is great. It's fine. I was curious about, because you said, you know, mentioned you get a different experience each time, attack, defend. Is there a progression system that like keeps you going, or is this a game like if I want to join you guys next week, like I'm gonna have like, oh well, you got to get at least to level 5.
There is a progression system,
yes, there is.
But it's at the very beginning. Like when you start off, you just have no operators, right? And then you get renown points as the more you play. Or no, you can unlock an operator right when you start. But it's like,
and you can also do tutorials. And
you don't really know what you want right at the start because it's like here's 14 classes or however many there are.
So not necessarily forced progression to
and then you can also unlock attachments on weapons.
You get attachments
and some
on
of them are pretty good, like some pretty seriously nice scopes and stuff that are a lot better than the iron.
But once you do that, like I think right now I'm sitting at like 14,000 renown, and the first unlocks for each not I guess race is it each
class?
No, like section. Each section has 4
nationality.
Right? Nationality, yeah. So each nationality has 4. The first one's 500, then 1,000, then 1,500, then 2,000 for the final unlock.
And you pick the order.
And you pick kind of the order you want.
Gotcha.
But no operator is like there's no order that you have to unlock. You can unlock Glaz, the sniper, right off the bat. The first thing you do.
Okay.
So that's the progression. And then you can get like a little bit of attachments, and they're not that
interestingly
expensive.
enough, it's kind of funny because I've heard, and by the way, you can't even queue for a solo ranked until you're level 20.
Yeah,
yourself.
level 20.
But at the same time,
Right.
you can group with someone who's higher, and they can pull you in. So they put some ways around it. But one of the things that I really liked about this game is when I started it, I only had a few operators. I got to learn to play them pretty well, and then as that progression that's there. That's what really sucked me into the game. Because then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep playing so I unlock these operators. And I'll probably be done when I unlock all the operators. And then all of a sudden I unlocked all the operators. And well, now I want to learn the maps a little bit better. And it just kind of kept building and building and building. And now it's like my evening chill game. If I only have an hour or two, I just jump in. I play the game off stream.
Yep.
Oh,
I can just go into my chat and be like, hey, anyone want to play some Rainbow Six? We'll get a full 5 group in a few seconds. Even if I hadn't streamed, for most of that day.
Yeah.
It's a really fun game. And also going back to the teamwork stuff, it is like a light switch playing with a team.
Yep.
Like if you're playing with a 5-man that's coordinating, it's a completely different experience. You start playing with the same people that you have. I mean, you start learning like the keywords to say to each other when things are happening,
and to be like super simple in
Yeah.
your what you're saying, like
Right.
one guy main door, and then you just shut up because the audio in the game is one of the most important things. 'Cause
Absolutely.
you can hear people running above you, below you, to your right, to your left, and it's super important to be able to do that. So like, there's so many different aspects of just learning in the game that I'm still learning things like he was saying every single day.
Well,
I
I
play.
think you guys have at least sold me to try it out.
The best thing in the game is when someone blows a wall, and there's I was saying this last night. There's like fog, there's like smoke and debris
Right.
and shit, and you're zoomed in with your gun, and you see like a leg, and then you just unload on the leg, and then you see like that guy's like, oh my fucking god, my friend just got shot. And he like bolts across the room, and then you headshot that guy, and then another guy in the corner who like leans out a little bit to see what the fuck's going on. And you headshot him. Like, it's the best feeling in the world. It's such a good feeling. And it was number 5 on your list as well.
Number 5 on my list as well.
Yeah.
I'm
super
still
fun.
playing it. Still an
It's
active
super
player
fun.
of it. Yeah.
It's a hell of a game. And
For sure.
Ubisoft are the people that figure out FPSs in 2015. Like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
And it's really unfortunate that it actually had so many problems on release because I think that it turned so many players off.
There
And
were a
now
lot of
they
hit
actually got them
registration
in pretty
issues.
quick. Yeah. Like at the very beginning, you could queue with the team, but it was a complete crapshoot if you were actually going to get a game. And sometimes you'd be sitting there 3 minutes, and if you would have dropped out and queued solo, it'd be instant.
Yeah.
It was just a mess. But it's since been a lot better.
They're on
patched it up
patch 1.3, and I think it's been like a month and a half since the game's come out, so they're patching it pretty regularly.
Yeah, and there's new content, free content coming out in just a little bit. Some more operators, some more maps and
operators.
stuff.
So
Good stuff.
it'll be fun. It'll be fun for sure. What's your number 5?
Number 5. Oh, number 5. Bloodborne.
There you go.
Nice.
There it is, finally.
Very nice. I was waiting for the first person to say that.
List. Bloodborne. This is my number 5. I am a From Software fanboy.
Yep. I think
I love
3 of us
everything
are.
from.
Yeah.
And this is no different. The gameplay. I mean, if you're a Souls person, you'll like Bloodborne.
Yep.
The gameplay, the esoteric story elements, the things you can like piece together about the lore and this kind of stuff, and every single thing, a person or whatever that talks is actually a big piece of like certain like the elements of backstory of the lore and whatever what have you.
Yeah.
The combat, it's Dark Souls combat with different weapons, cool weapons. The only thing,
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
What do you not like about it?
huge glaring thing that I
We've
just
heard this.
Oh yeah.
I think
Yeah, we know- we
I
know
know
what it
guess
exactly.
because I'm sure I've heard it, but like
I know exactly
it's
what you're
load
gonna say.
times, right?
No.
No.
They
It's
patched
a
that out.
it's a balance thing. It's
Oh,
really-
it's one stat that they tease you with.
which one?
Arcane.
So
Oh.
Zeke's the
There's
guy
a
that
stat.
dropped everything into Arcane and wanted to play Mage.
I did.
And then realized that
and this
so
is
many-
release day. No, I know.
Yeah.
I know zero about it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I see the Arcane stat. I'm like, there's gonna be fucking spells. I'm in. I love spellcasters. Always love.
Of
spellcasters.
course.
Love playing Souls games with spellcasters and stuff like that. And I play through them many times with different classes and stuff like that. But I usually always start with spells because I like the way they look. I like the way that blast and whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But I sunk so much points in Arcane, so much. And I was like waiting for like something spell related, and there wasn't anything. There could be argued that there are spells, but
They're items that use the arcane stat.
Yeah.
But they're not really like
exactly.
yeah.
like the the auger or the that kind of shit.
Yeah.
The book with the tentacles that come out and stuff like that. There are almost no weapons that take advantage of the arcane skill, save one of the first weapons you get is the threaded cane.
Yeah.
And that's like the best you get until you get this other weapon later. That's just fun, and that weapon fucking sucks. And that's in the DLC. It's in the DLC. However, I'm done bitching about it because all that aside, I still had so much fun playing this game because it's what you want.
Yeah.
With new bosses, new enemies, new weapons, or new lore, story, the atmosphere. It's just it's a solid addition to the franchise.
It was my number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah. And I'm playing through it again right now because we just finished Dark Souls 2 the other day and started Bloodborne. And I think the thing that and I hadn't played it before I made this list. I had played it when it came out, but I hadn't started playing it again for Souls Month until a couple days ago is what I'm trying to say. And there's such a smart decision from software in the sense of how the game works comparative to the Souls series and just like how the combat is and how it's faster and how they I don't know how they did that, but they fucking nailed that. Like
The
made it
health regeneration mechanic
Yeah,
is
like
huge.
that-
because
Yes.
it keeps you on the offensive. And
Yeah.
it rewards you
it
for being on the
rewards
offensive.
offensive play.
Yep.
Like that's the best way to say it.
But
And
that's
it
one of
is-
my
that
favorite
also
mechanics from
makes
that.
it
No, it does
more
not
difficult.
reward offensive play. What it does is it baits you with offensive play.
There we go. That's what I was going to say.
I
Because
thought
It's
it
like,
was great.
haha, you
Yes,
can get some
yeah.
more health back if you keep attacking.
It's like, okay.
Pow, 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 fuck you, die.
we can move forward.
But
Yeah.
see, that was kind of interesting because
Correct.
what it would do is it would force you to think of strategies that involved that constant press forward. So
Right.
there were a lot of
Yeah.
times when, of course, it'd be easier to just dance around and back and wait for that one attack that you know you can run in on.
But
before
it's
they attack.
harder if you
But
do
then
that.
it's a lot of times harder
Yeah.
because you go and you go like, okay, if I get hit once, then if I do a quick dodge and then just keep the attack up, then I'll get all my health back and the guy will be dead and I can keep moving. So
Yeah.
it was a really cool mechanic. I like that. Although I do know a lot of people disliked it and they felt it kind of made it more
Yeah,
arcadey
there's-
and less
there's a lot,
tactical.
yeah.
But I thought it was a pretty good addition.
it hit me very in a huge way when I fought the Cleric Beast on Monday, I guess is when I started that. The Cleric Beast is the first boss in the game on the
Right.
bridge that you fight.
Yep.
And I fought him in such a way that like I never stopped moving. And like when you play Dark Souls, it's pretty much here's my shield, I'm gonna wait for him to attack. All right, swipe. And then you kind of like play that way. And in this game, like I never stopped moving for like 3 minutes. I was constantly just circling this guy, just dashing nonstop, and it's like, fuck, that was so much fun to just play that fast.
Yeah.
And that's the other
There he is.
huge difference between Bloodborne and the Souls games. Huge, and it's killed me so many times. Is if you lock on, you don't get a roll dodge.
Yeah.
You get a little sidestep or a backstep.
Yeah.
And that is so fucking. I'm not saying it's better or worse. I'm saying it's fucking hard to get used to. Especially
is.
when you're used to rolling every time
Dude,
you
imagine
try
me.
to dodge an enemy if you're locked on.
I played 100+ hours of Souls and
Yeah.
then jumped into this on Monday.
Yeah.
The first 30 minutes was like, what the fuck is this game? Like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
Yep.
But it was a lot of fun.
Locking on is for noobs.
Right, I know, and I get so much shit for that. I'm sure the chat's like, you lock on, you don't play Dark Souls, you don't have King Kong's dick in
If
your ear.
if you want a good laugh, Zeke, look up Mini Wheat learns to play Bloodborne, and he will give you a lesson on why locking on is for noobs, and then you'll be blown away by what he's able to actually do without ever locking on in that game.
By the way, this has nothing to do with Game of the Year. The Tigers in the Frozen Wasteland.
Yep.
I summoned. I couldn't.
You did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I summoned the 2 guys at the fucking gravestones. Ran across there as the horses from Fuckville Valley came and just started destroying you. And then I got to the boss and killed him.
Ponycorns, yeah.
I killed him with 3 summons active, but only 2 were in there because
Right.
dumb fuck Vengar was like off in the wastelands playing with the horses or some
Yep,
shit.
yep.
So it was like that fight is a nightmare. That fight's a nightmare. No one knows what we're talking about unless you play Dark Souls 2. DLC,
Oh,
but yeah.
great. I can't wait.
The walk is the nightmare.
The Frozen, it's the worst part of the entire Souls series. It's just a nightmare. It's the worst.
You can skip that part if you want.
Yeah, it's optional. It's optional.
But yeah, did you have it on your list, Bloodborne?
Yes, Bloodborne was actually let me reference my card. 3. It was 3.
Oh.
So
Hell of a game.
yeah, it was.
And you played the DLC. I have not yet.
I played the game when it
So have
came
you.
out.
Both of you
I
have.
played it just a couple months ago. I did a full another run of Bloodborne. SPLATOON and did the DLC, killed every single boss, and loved every minute of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm really looking forward to
It's
it.
a hugely entertaining game.
I'm
cannot wait
looking
to get
forward.
back.
I want to go back and redo my character, not arcane. I would love to do a strength build or
I
dex
played
build.
Dude, I
Ooh.
did an entire playthrough beginning to end with DLC in like 4 or 5 days of
Yeah.
full casts, and it's such a rewarding experience to do it all back to back.
Yeah,
It really
yeah.
is great.
I
So
played through
recommend
the
it big
first time
time.
with the axe, which is like the noob weapon or whatever by standards, and now I'm using the Kirk hammer. Oh, it's so
Is that the
good.
double? That's the double sword, right?
Oh, it's
or is
the-
that the big
the
hammer?
Kirk
It's the
hammer.
giant fucking hammer.
Yeah.
It's like the long sword
Oh,
attached to
yeah.
it, and then
And
you
you go,
Oh, yeah.
and that animation, every weapon has a switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
That animation between some of the weapons is just fucking
So
odd.
badass.
And you got the hammer instead, or like
Dude,
the scythe.
Yeah. I was only able to play 5 minutes because then I had random power issues. But like I got one kill with charging the fucking Kirk hammer up and just like going like that. Oh, it felt so good.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to go back and play more.
Immediately when I got it wasn't the Kirk because Kirk hammer is not a new weapon. There's a new
Yeah.
DLC hammer
The
weapon.
mo-
the
yes.
giant.
Well,
yeah,
there's-
I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
there's a couple hammer. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I got those and I was like, oh my god, this is good. And then I remembered I'm fucking arcane. Because I was like, yeah, come and get some. And then it was like, no damage at all. I was
Nerf
like,
hammer.
son of a bitch.
Oh man,
Bounces off.
is this DLC?
I think so.
Oh, that looks
Yeah.
so good.
Oh well, actually,
Yep,
that's
the
my
DLC, yep.
weapon, man. That like I use that weapon the entire playthrough. Up
Oh, is
until
that
the DLC.
Ludwig's holy
Yep,
sword or
yep.
whatever?
Yes,
I've
it
heard
is.
that
The
story.
Ludwig's Holy Blade
the
is
DLC version.
It's actually a decent weapon for arcane. That's what I used for a lot of
Okay.
it. It was Ludwig.
Dude, once I got that weapon, both my playthroughs, I absolutely love it. It embodies everything I like about the Dark Souls kind
can't
of
wait
series
to
things.
do another playthrough. That's why, god damn it, I could talk about this for hours, but I can't wait to do another playthrough with a completely different weapon, completely different build, completely different mindset.
This game was the one game that I like really wanted to give Game of the Year, but I just couldn't do it because the other two games that are ahead of it. But like I wanted that to be the Game of the Year because it was so good. And it is so good. I can't wait to play more of it. And it just makes me that much more excited for Dark Souls 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like-
Oh god, yeah.
Like
Completely.
fuck,
Yep.
that's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be
Completely.
incredible.
And that was my 5, right?
That was
Okay.
5, yeah. So
Okay.
your 5 was Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six.
That means I get to be the first guy to complete my card, I think.
You do. You
I
win
have
bingo.
I have one more left. It's my last mobile game, and this one even more so. It came out in November, and it was the third title of a series. And so I bought it, and then bought the first two, and played it back to back to back, and it fucking blew my mind. And that is The Room.
Yeah!
Holy
I could go grab my iPad right now.
Shit,
I
dude.
just finished The Room 3 on the flight over here.
It is.
I played 1, 2, and 3. They're great games. They're fun. Puzzly.
It's like,
Yeah.
dude, actually, it's one of those games where it's like, I would love to just talk to the game the designers for 2 hours. I would love to just find out what they were thinking and how they developed this stuff. But like, literally imagine if there was a wooden box on the table and you would turn the box around and you would find a switch that happens to open something up. And then that opens up the box. And inside then there's like this puzzle where you have to align a globe. And when you do that, it like opens up this key, but it's a really funky shaped key. And when you examine it closer, you find out you can actually like rotate the key to like make different types of keyholes. And in what essentially The Room 1 is about a single box in a single room. And then The Room 2 begins to expand it. And then The Room 3 like just blows it up. But you guys, like, it's so freaking amazing to see the puzzles that these guys put together.
That almost looked like a mist or riven.
Yeah.
thing.
It's what you wanted that game to be. Wow. Yes.
Wow.
It is. And a lot of people, like, that's their review headline. Like, this is, right, there was a little bit of gimmick to Myst and what they were doing, but it encompassed that huge puzzle that took place. That's The Room. But like how shit unfolds and how you like are aligning stuff and solving puzzles that then will come in later on, and you are just like, your mind will just be like, holy shit, how the fuck did they even like think about.
Is it only
this.
mobile?
So Room 1 was mobile, was so popular they released it on Steam. I think you can get Room 1 on Steam.
Oh, okay.
That's the only one.
I've heard they're really good.
Oh, so not
I've
2 or
heard
3?
the same thing.
2 or 3 are not on Steam yet.
Oh,
I'm
man.
not 100%. If Room 2 might be, but
They're better. They're better. They're better on a touchscreen.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at what you're looking at. You're looking at like the thing, and you have to you touch this or no, that doesn't. And then you touch that, and then you spin the thing. You're like, okay, there's a thing here. It's like
zoom in, like,
kinda
oh wait,
and
something.
then you double tap on anything. You kind of zoom in on the area you're kind of focusing on, and you're like, does that fucking flip up or is it fucking? What do I do with that fucking thing? Maybe. Oh,
we
shit.
talked about the room of your
shit.
sex life.
And then you go, and then you like you pinch out, you like zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. And you're like, oh fuck, there was a thing in the other room. And you go like the other room,
You're running
you
back
pick
to
up
the-
that other thing. You're like, bring it back to this room, like trying to jam it in there, and it doesn't work. You're like, god damn it.
It's really incredible. I don't know what else to say. It's a difficult game to kind of. Which one is that? Just Room?
The first one, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and it's a really difficult game
Mecha
to kind
Hitler
of
liked it.
to talk about. But you guys, this game is really impressive. And if you like game design or you like to think about how someone developed a level or like took a concept and then created this ridiculous like intertwining world around it, this game.
Yeah, if you simply just like puzzle games, it's a great puzzle game.
So between
Physical, moving 3D puzzle game.
between like 1, 2, and 3, and then just 3, like how many hours are we talking about? Is this like a 10-hour thing, or are we talking about like 4 or 5?
I would guess if you played all the games back to back, it's probably like 2 hours, 5 or 6 hours, and then Room 3 just it's got to be 6 to 10 hours.
Damn.
Wow. Nice.
Depending if you don't get help or whatever, and you don't use the hints.
Yeah.
They have a hint
Yeah, yeah.
system. If you don't use any of the hints, like there is parts you can get kind of caught up if you miss like one thing from another room. You're like, how the fuck? And you struggle and then you have to go back and you go, oh fuck, I didn't get this one thing, and that just opens up the rest. Whatever.
Gotcha.
Very
Really cool.
I'll have to check
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere is cool.
I
and
think
there's a
think
cool
you'd really like it.
Yeah.
the story. There's a little bit of story element to it. Like you find notes from like a scientist that is like talking directly to you and saying, "Oh my people, you've come this far." And like I have found, and it shows just research notes of this like the reason why the physical puzzles are able to work the way they do,
Right.
Because of a certain energy. Blah, blah, I don't
Oh,
wanna
okay.
spoil it or whatever.
I'm officially
It's
sold.
It's just neat. It's a neat
sounds
game.
really cool.
It's neat.
Yeah, and the mechanics that they build on each game allow the world to expand in a really unique way. Like they didn't go, okay, guys, Room 3, like what sort of gimmicky shit can we throw in there? Like it's like, no, let's take the same mechanic we've used, but let's figure out a new way to use it. And when you find out like what they do to it, you're just like, God damn you clever sons of bitches. Like holy, and it is one of those, it has a Portal-esque feeling where like there's times where you're like, I'm the smartest motherfucker on this planet.
Okay.
Like,
That might
that's
have
it.
sold me.
Yeah.
So yeah, look at it from right here. This is the Steam version, so you could see. Like, finally, we get to see the intricacies
Oh,
of
wow.
like, and each box is so amazingly designed, and it works. And in this one, you're trying to get a camera working so that you can like show a picture and then figure out some more information from that. And it's crazy awesome. Crazy awesome.
Yeah, and
This is my trip home.
and it's,
Thank you.
It's definitely worth
Yes.
picking up
do
on mobile. It's definitely worth picking up on mobile because
Yeah.
I think it's only like
The whole thing
$3 or
cost
$4.
Yeah, I think you get Room for 99 cents, Room 2 for $1.99, and this game for $3.99, I think.
Yep. And
Oh, that's
that was my flight to
Whoa.
PAX Prime, to TwitchCon, to here. Like Room 1, 2, and 3, I played through all of them. They're great.
Damn.
They're worth it.
All right.
Mobile
Cool.
That looks
Boom.
great.
Sold.
Then that's the end of my
Done.
list.
All
games.
right.
Yeah, you're
We
done.
finished
completed.
his list.
Nice work.
Congrats.
We did
I don't know why
we
we're
made it
clapping.
to 2015.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
why
You got
either.
bingo.
You did it. You wrote 10 games down.
Number 4.
What do you have left?
I think I just have 4.
Okay, we're on 4, so let's do 4.
Okay. So I didn't like the ending. I've been very public about it.
La 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 la.
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
But I will say that the gameplay, the amount of time I spent on it,
Yeah.
And the amount of new stuff that I think it brought to the franchise got my 4th to be Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay, I'm glad that's on someone's list.
Yeah.
This was one of the ones that was like 11 and 10, right?
Yeah.
Right there for me.
Yeah, it was kind of, now this one's really high on the list, and the main reason being is because I just was finishing the tail end of a Metal Gear Solid franchise playthrough, and it really did kind of show the progression of game mechanics from beginning to end.
Right.
And I thought that was great. I also really like how they took a big risk taking this franchise open world. Like, they made some serious risks with this game. And again, going back to what I was talking about Fallout, I have a huge appreciation for companies that really try to push the genre. There were a lot of great parts about it. There was a base building mechanic that was actually pretty good. There was a staffing mechanic that was really interesting and new. They tried so many new things with this that a lot of people claimed it didn't work. And frankly, that can be a good thing when you're looking for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But really, the thing that kind of was probably my biggest downside about this was just knowing that, it wasn't Hideo's vision at the end. That really, and again, I'm not going to spoil it, but for those that don't know, unfortunately, the lead creator did not get to finish the last part of the games. It didn't end how he wanted it to because of some turmoil in the company he was working for.
Yeah.
And they do have an ending, sort of, and it kind of fits the world and stuff. But really, the reason that this game is on here for me, and especially as high up as it is
his
just,
ending public? I'm sorry, I have to ask now.
I don't
believe
it
ever was.
Unfortunately,
it's
it was
just
kind of like
known
an arc.
that he had another direction and it went this way.
Yes, and I'm going to be honest with you. This was told to me by a lot of fans and a lot of people that know a lot more than I did about it. But it really was a big push forward, in my opinion. A lot of risks, a lot of interesting mechanics. I loved the balloon stuff.
Yeah, how are you supposed to balloon those?
There's actually an upgrade you can get where it just literally like sucks the thing into a black hole. It's awesome, and that's how you get a lot of stuff. The vehicle stuff was pretty cool. The helicopter and bringing it where you choose your landing zones was fun. There, of course, were a lot of problems with it, but I feel like a lot of the problems that came with it came with those risks. The fact that they were doing a lot of stuff for the first time ever. And of course, they're gonna, they weren't really doing a lot of that at the time. So yeah, you can see here that part was amazing. I love doing that.
That thing right there is the headshot of Rainbow Six for Metal Gear Solid. Like going over and just throwing someone up.
Yeah, this too. Yoink, you're mine now. Yep, pretty much.
Just parachute everything. Just fucking everything's going to the sky.
And goats.
Yeah,
it was great.
I vicariously lived through the gifs of this game.
It's coming
right?
with me.
Like, oh my God, I would just sit there and be like, well, I've got 15 minutes. I'm going to watch Metal Gear Solid 5 gifs because I just sit through and the funniest shit would happen. I was just like, awesome.
I still like shooting the horse. And then fucking parachuting because it's just like, why? It doesn't make any sense that that's a thing. Also, you have a horse as an optional or like a buddy. And you have a dog that fucking puts armor.
I love that dog.
A dog that puts armor on and then has a knife and goes and attacks people with a knife in his mouth.
Full skill tree and everything. Yeah, I mean,
what? Like that's only Metal Gear. Like
only
that's only Metal Gear.
That's true.
It's insane. It's fucking insane.
I didn't get enough time with it. I started it in January. I started it this month.
Yeah.
Like I played it for I think one session, maybe two. And I really liked obviously there was so much opportunity for humor.
Oh yeah.
In the game.
Yeah.
Like when he crouches, it's a perfect teabag. It's a perfect, like their head perfect teabag, and then you get down on your all fours and you're right there and you're like face to face with the guy on the ground. Like and of course you can make up stories about like you fall in love with kind of like you balloon them away, keep them in your sex dungeon or whatever.
It still might have the best mechanic of the year where there's a button that makes the horse, and we've said this so many times. There's a button that makes the horse defecate on the road, and when cars run into it, it like slides around. And the button is called "Do It," and you hit that, and then the horse shits, and that's in the game.
That's not game of the year for that.
It should have been on the list.
What else? What does it take to get game of the year from you?
That should have been on the list. Like I had a lot of fun with that game, but it was right there, and I ended up. We had the same discussion when it came out. Like the game is set up where there's like part 1 and part 2.
Yes.
And the way that part 1 ends, I did not care for the rest of it, and I did not play the other 15 hours that it would take.
Yep.
Because I was already 30 hours into a Metal Gear game.
Yep. It's really unfortunate because like it would have done so much better on my list. It really and because you see so much potential. Like it's almost like an unfinished painting.
Yeah.
Where, you see the image, you see what they're kind of going for, but it's just not quite cooked. It's not quite done. And, it's kind of unfortunate because now, of course, we don't know if we'll ever see another one.
We probably,
Yeah.
we honestly won't, which is so sad.
Yeah.
Like, there's so
or
much
what we will
story.
see won't truly be.
Yeah.
Right.
There's so much story and backstory and just so much of that game. Yeah. Here's
Also a surprising amount of humor. Like that really, and which is kind of a trademark, or not a trademark, but it's a consistent theme in the Metal Gear Solid games. But they really did a good job with that at the end of this one too.
If anything, it was a fantastic send-off for that series, I thought. It encapsulated, for the most part, what that series...
The good parts were great about it. The bad parts were unfortunate to have it kind of end on that note. But there's no question. And also kind of cool for people that want to check it out. I have not yet done it, but apparently the online component just came
out.
Yeah, and apparently people are saying it's pretty fun, pretty cool.
I know
I'm gonna
that
go back and check it out sometime.
That came out on consoles a while back, but I didn't hear
Yes.
any good stuff about it. But yeah, maybe we'll check out the PC
For good things.
version, So. God, that game. That game is just, it has so many weird things that is awesome.
It does. They always have, but that was part of their charm.
Does that complete your list?
I think that completes my list.
Okay.
Boom.
Boom.
Okay. All right. Deke.
We're clapping for completed list.
Yeah, I don't know why
You
we're
did
clapping.
it.
All right, how many you got left?
I've got 2 left.
What?
And I don't think they're going to be on your list at all.
I've got 2 left, and I don't think they're going to be on anybody's list either.
Do number 3.
Number 3. Now, number 3 might garner some... I know at least one person is going to hate me for it. I think, because I remember he went off about it. But number 3, The Beginner's Guide.
Okay.
Someone's clapping.
Someone's
Is that
clapping.
you?
Yeah, we got some applause.
Our
Yeah, there you go.
director
Adam's
is happy
clapping
about
about it.
this.
The Beginner's Guide by the makers of Stanley Parable.
I've heard this is very good.
The main lead guy, The Beginner's Guide. Now, the reason why it's so high on the list is because this game made me think. It made me emotional. There's no like point. That's the other thing. That's why I don't argue too much about what makes a game a game.
Yeah.
The point of this game is to go through it. And the premise is you are not in a game. This is a narrator telling you a story about a friend that he has that's a game developer.
Yeah.
And he is putting out the unfinished games that his friend had not put out yet. And as the story progresses, you kind of get the feeling that this might not have been what the guy wanted. And there, like, you see pieces of unfinished games from a game developer, and he explains like, oh, see how this is, and this is genius, and like, why do you think he put like this like emotional nugget that seems like very autobiographical? He put this emotional nugget inside the game, this little Easter egg, and the narrator's like, I got to this point in the game, and I started to worry about my friend. And you start getting really emotionally involved with this game.
Interesting.
And I came.
It's a short. It's like
it's a
not
short
that
game. It's a
long,
one
right?
session game.
Yeah. Okay.
And but the reason is, I came away from the game with so many different like thoughts and emotions in my head. I wasn't puzzled. I was stimulated, I think. And it's been a long time since a game has stimulated me emotionally and mentally like that, like the going through that one did. Because there's some funny parts, there's some really like heart-wrenching parts, there's some really like icky, make you feel icky inside kind of parts.
Yeah.
It's
I remember
just-
you recommending
yeah.
this game when you played it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great, man.
I haven't
It's
gone
great.
back and checked
And like
it out.
if you, like the guy who made Stanley Parable obviously is like, you know, the fourth wall breaking kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that kind of thing. This just takes it to a different spot, but it's definitely like, you know what's going on, and it's just you're involved with the story.
There you go.
It's great.
Interesting.
Yep.
I'll have to check that out.
Very cool.
My number 3, I don't think anyone has played on this actually, but I've talked about it on the show before. It's Tales from the Borderlands. Game has
Yeah.
no right being as good as it is. Like, why the fuck is a Borderlands game in 2015
You know,
from that universe in a top 10
It's
list?
not a
number
Borderlands
I'm gonna
game,
tell
though.
you-
It's not- yeah,
That's
exactly.
the reason why, right?
but well,
'Cause it's not a
yes
Borderlands
and
game.
no,
Maybe.
right? It's definitely from that universe, right?
100%.
100%. It is
Yeah.
from that universe. But like I feel like what they did is they really captured that humor and
they
and
nailed it.
right
Knocked it out of
from-
the park.
I mean, if Borderlands, I would suspect that if you took out all the shooting of Borderlands, you'd laugh a lot more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like as
completely.
you're so that's what you got with this.
And this
because
game made
that,
me
you
laugh
know,
so
you're not
hard.
going and then killing 12 slug rats and more
Yeah.
rats and then so it's just a constant barrage of fucking hilarity.
It's like
as far as I'm
refined
concerned.
Borderlands from
Yeah.
the sounds of it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I mean, that's why I loved Borderlands, because you fall in love with Claptrap the first time.
Right,
and, you
right.
know, like.
You do what?
And you.
You fall in love with Claptrap? You're kidding me.
Claptrap, he's all right.
Claptrap's pretty cool.
I ditch him the first opportunity I have.
All right, well, yeah.
Oh my god.
But you fall in love with the charm. That is him. And then
But
you
yeah,
go to his pizza party. And,
I don't know. I'm not a big
Anyway.
fan of forced charm.
and because you're the only one that shows up, Zeke. Like, come on, man. Show some empathy and consideration.
All right.
And like one of my fucking favorite moments. First off,
There's a lot
I'm
of
gonna take it.
amazing moments in that game.
The way that they present the game, which is from two people telling similar stories, but from their perspective, is fucking brilliant. Because if
And they
JP
play on it
tells a
so
story and I tell a story, we get two different versions of the story.
Yeah.
It creates some of the most the bro.
The bro moment in the game is
defines that game. If you watch that, you're like,
it's very
that's what
it's
you're
one of
gonna
the
get.
That's one of those. This is
it's one of the
those,
best written games of the year.
This is one of those games,
not the best.
that has just been pummeled at me. Like, you'll like it. I was like,
It's
I
so
really
good.
didn't give a shit about Borderlands. It was a
didn't look.
moderately good game.
I didn't
Borderlands- for
either.
me. Borderlands
Yeah.
1 and 2 are both moderately good. Like, this is different.
Yeah.
Dude, and like pummeled me. Like, you'll like it. You'll like it. I promise. You'll like it.
The bro like
and I
there's
still
so
haven't
many
gone back
funny
to it yet,
moments.
so I have no like real opinion about it. I've
Bro
never
moment
played.
is hilarious. There's a moment that involves pistol fingers.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is it's the best action scene of the year. They stretch it out. It's the best act. It's 5 minutes long of pistol fingers, of
Awesome.
fake bazookas, of Uzis and
That could be done so poorly, though.
It's done so well,
Dude,
dude.
that's it.
It's done so well.
Did you play it, Kyle?
This game is on my with Telltale games. I always like to wait until they're all out.
Yeah.
Except
And-
for Walking Dead.
This game has been on my very short list. I'm actually working through Dragon's Dogma right now, and my 2 games to play after that are RimWorld and Tales from the Borderlands.
It's
so.
and
yeah.
then for me the reason that this could have been number 1 if it wasn't for the game that's number 1, episode 4, and we've said this, the games have these intros in them that are super stylized, and they have like a theme song attached to them. The episode 4 intro there's nothing about it that's gamey. It's just like storytelling, but the music that they chose for it and the way that it plays out is like, it's one of those just like fuck yeah moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just like, this is amazing. I can't believe I'm watching
will
this
say that
unfold.
like first time ever playing the first Borderlands, I will say that like that Cagey Elephant song starting it off.
They nailed
that was
it,
fun.
yeah.
I mean, that's
Right.
a great
And
choice.
It's iconic. It's
and
iconic.
it was and it was the
Absolutely.
animation was great. I really like that. So
It's
if
actually
if
exactly
it's like
that. It's exactly that for all 5 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give it. You know what? I'm gonna do a Telltale month.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
There's,
Okay.
There's Telltale games that I haven't finished. Like that I started and didn't. I didn't finish Walking Dead. I didn't finish any of the episodes. I didn't do.
You gotta play, like,
I haven't
Back to
finished
the
Game of
Future?
Thrones. I haven't finished Borderlands.
I haven't done the past
or done
episodes
Borderlands
around.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
The only Telltale game that I played from start to finish, and it's because I'm a huge fan, is Fables. Is
Right. The
Wolf
Oh
Among
yeah,
Us.
Wolf
Yeah,
Among
Wolf
Us,
Among
yeah,
Us.
yeah.
because I knew the characters, I knew the backstory. I was like, oh, that sounds good. Totally, it's like,
Yeah.
the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing when you look at all the Telltale games, it's like if you go back before The Walking Dead came out, Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, there was definitely an attempt to bring humor to the Telltale style, and in some
Right.
cases they nailed it, but I don't think they ever like really nailed it. And then Walking Dead came out, it's like we nailed the emotional response. We
yeah.
nailed the ability to make you care about these characters that are nothing more than like cartoons. And then you look at Game of Thrones, where I think they did a really good job of still keeping that stylized look, but recreating that feeling of reading the books or watching the show, etc. Again, not funny. I mean, you might chuckle, and also like somewhat emotional response, but like Tales from the Borderlands is them perfecting
Everything.
comedy
But also,
I mean, they
there's
do
a
everything.
Yeah, there's a
they
lot
do
of stuff
action
in there.
great. They've done action great since fucking Jurassic Park, which is not good, but it has
Even
some
the
amazing
heartstring pull moments in that game are for characters that you're like, why the fuck do I care about this person?
But even those moments, still, they're not like
Walking Dead episodes.
they're all, but they're like they still find the humor to throw in for them.
Yeah,
you know
exactly,
what I mean? It's like
exactly.
that is the so it's
You're right,
really
you're right.
it's really like a totally different and amazing experience like to come from Telltale.
Just the game blew me away. Like I was not expecting to like that. I don't even know why I decided to play it in the first place, but like, holy shit, that game was amazing from start to finish. Every episode is just great, and I think every episode I laughed too, which for pretty much every other game I didn't laugh as hard as I did playing as much as I did playing Borderlands. So, what's your number one? We'll let you go first.
Oh, will you let me?
Because I know that my number one is going to be a huge point of contention for everyone.
Okay.
I don't know. My number one might be two, but my number one game of the year, and do a little explaining first. What like the most important part of any game, video, board, card, is fun.
Well, Bosch didn't come out in
This
2015.
shut up. That's not fun. Anyway,
We had to fit one boss. You just
is
in there.
yeah, of course
we got it.
And this was the most fun I had all year playing a video game. And my game of the year is Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
I saw that on your list
Wow.
when you sent it to me. Unfortunately, 2 weeks ago.
Played that with many different people. Like I played that
You're not wrong.
over Skype. I played that on the couch with people. I played, and I could still go back and I could play it with different people of different like skill levels, stuff like that. I had so much fun with the pressure and the camaraderie. And it's like one of the best co-op games I've ever played because it's you. Anybody can do it. Anybody can play it.
Right.
You look at the manual and
Makes sense.
I had the absolute most fun playing this game of any game. I had the most tense moments, the most hilarious moments, the most like rage like at somebody else. I had so much fun getting mad and yelling at anybody else who was helping me try to play this game.
Yeah. It's definitely a must-play game, and I'm so glad. I agree with everything you're saying. I'm so glad that they said "fuck VR." We don't need VR to play.
See,
this.
but that's how this game was designed.
It was designed
like,
in VR.
That is brilliant. Yeah, because
Look at
the
that.
idea,
So happy.
is that if you are the one defusing the bomb, that you would be wearing the Oculus, and that you being alone and having that pressure like that intensifies. I mean, I think they obviously did go.
We don't need
Fuck
this.
that shit.
Yeah.
Just really,
And I'm
it's
so
just
glad they
as
did.
fun. Yeah,
it's
they really
a hell
need
of a
to.
game.
Yeah. And I really hope they just come out with more and more like expansions and like, like just expound on the game. Like have different like maybe have 2 bombs, maybe have just different things that you can different modules and a new manual.
Yeah.
What I want
Because once you start getting that's the other thing. Once you start
robot
getting used
controlled. So you have to not only
You
get the
control the
instructions, but
robot?
you also have to control the robot.
The bomb
that goes
robot?
over
Yes.
there.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Oh my god. Yeah,
meta.
but it has a lot of potential, a lot of possibilities for added stuff.
Yeah.
And for new module mechanics to diffuse and stuff like that. Because I will say that once you start getting used to seeing certain things, you can just go through them single player and just go like
Right.
do.
For sure. Yeah.
But like starting it up with a new person is it's just glorious.
It's magical.
Especially if you had played it before, because you're like, no, it is the red with white. It's like I'm not seeing a red with white. It just look for the red and cross it out with the. It's so much fun, and
It's also true that there's no other game like that. It is
yeah.
It is in a league of its own for what that game is.
Yep.
Like it's a co-op puzzle game, I guess is how you would like.
I mean,
classify
to
that?
me,
I
that's
don't know.
like kind of the future of party games. Look at
Yeah,
things
it's-
like
it's
this.
also a party
look at
game,
like
yeah.
Quiplash and some of these other games that Jackbox have put together. Like the evolution of the party game. This is one that like it. I could have my whole family over and be like, we're gonna play a fun.
We're
game.
gonna check this
Yep,
game
they
out.
could
Yeah.
all play.
old
Don't need to know how to
non-gamers.
do- Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love that about it.
That's a hell of a
What is going on in this one?
He's not, I'm that's Sweetness, the pimp, and then my friend is under the sheet. He's helping me out doing the bombs.
There you go.
And I think I might still be telling him that there's a bomb up there when there's not. And just yelling at him like, no, it's the thing that looks like a lobster. No, lobster. You're not seeing the lobster thing in there?
Oh, God.
Look for it. And I'm just screaming at him maybe.
Yeah.
I know there's parts when I do that, but yeah.
Best thing about that game is the alarm. When that alarm goes off, it's the most...
Oh, my God. And that's what there's
Yeah.
other things to fuck with. They turn off the lights. Click.
Yeah.
And you
that
can
sucks.
choose to go and turn on the lights if you want, but it takes time.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the alarm.
The alarm
And
is
it's-
just so loud and annoying.
It's that alarm that you grew up with that everybody, like the cheap clock that Walmart had, that everyone had. Bam, 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 bam. Oh my God, and you're just like,
Yeah, it's good. That's a good game.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a
That was
game.
my game of the year. I suggest anybody get it.
So my game of the year didn't come out this year. It comes out this year. It comes out in 2016.
God, yeah. What?
Can we count it?
So it doesn't count because it didn't come out in 2016. Okay, cool. That's fine. Or 2015. That's
Overwatch.
Fanboy away!
Oh.
I maybe it's a fanboy, but there was no game for me that took over my Twitch experience this year like Overwatch did with other streamers.
Sure.
For an entire week, we were playing 14 plus hours a day with Summit, with Jericho, with jumped in a bunch of those games, with Day9, with Dyrus, with Bjergsen. I had to learn how to fucking pronounce that guy's name because it's the weirdest looking name in the world. Like, it's the game that I think about daily on why can't I play it, because they took it away from me, which I didn't realize at the time. It's one of the smartest things that Blizzard has ever done, because if you think about the games and like
it's drug dealer stuff.
in early
It works.
access,
Yeah.
they just persist. Think about Evolve, right? Evolve was there forever. If they
And
never
that
took it away
devalued
from
the
you, and it
release, for
devalued
sure.
it.
Yeah.
Them taking it away, like I fiend that I want to play this game every single day.
God.
It is just a hell of a game, man.
I can't understand how somebody, like...
Understand what? See?
Just,
Yeah, understand what?
I don't know, man.
Nothing you say is wrong here.
No,
will not fault you.
it's just an opinion, and I don't know if I could ever put a PvP game,
Okay, yeah.
like, man, I just don't. Maybe it's just not my thing. Like,
Yeah,
if it's
that's my thing. That's
PvP
a
You know what, though?
only game is what I'm saying. PvP only game.
Right.
Knowing JP's background fairly intimately, it like makes total sense.
Sure. No,
right?
I'm sure, like-
it just in terms of, I get. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I put 80 hours in the course of a week to that game. Like, I played it so fucking goddamn much. And every single time was with other streamers. And it was just the best. It was the most fun I've had all year. And you mentioned, like, fun. It was the most fun I had all year.
Well, and also, like, I don't have any friends on Twitch, so
Yeah.
like, I don't team up with a lot of.
Well, and
Well, and
we
also,
invited
and that's
everyone.
another thing. Like, even when I do try and like pick up these PvP like FPS games,
Yeah.
it's like I feel so bad for anybody whose team I'm on because I'm so shit at them.
Sure.
Then
Yeah,
I'm like,
we couldn't play together, Zeke.
who has
Sorry.
Zeke on their team? All right, we're gonna have to structure around him. We're gonna put the way better people on his team to make up for his shititude. Okay.
See, and that was the other thing is we did these like streamer matches, right?
Sure.
And it was 6v6. Everyone was a streamer in the game. But we knew like we would make people be captains, and there was definitely players that were just accepted it bad. They were bad at the game. Like they were not on the same skill level as everyone else. But even then, they still had fun, and we still had fun playing with them because the game like allows for that. At least at this level. Once you get to like the Pro TF2 players and all that shit,
Right.
the game's actually not fun for me
Yeah,
anymore.
it's
because
real
they
hard.
just dominate the fuck out of you.
Okay.
But like if the team is balanced, it's so much fun. It's just an absurd amount of fun.
You know, it's also fair to say everyone that got into the beta was, actually, let me rewind. There was a huge percentage of beta players who have a very natural affinity or experience in FPS games, which made it really, during the beta, a difficult game for someone who's maybe not used to this or doesn't play this type of game regularly because they got shit on.
Yeah.
I think the release is honestly where this is where you give this game a shot, because hopefully with their popularity, they will have a lot of people coming into the game.
Right at the start. Yeah.
Right, in the exact same way. So you get to learn and develop with people that
Also-
are also in the same boat.
The class we were just watching, Reinhardt, like he's not aim dependent. There are classes in the game that you don't have to have amazing FPS skills. I hold up a fucking shield and walk forward with this hero.
But you are still
like-
so important.
But you're still like one of the most important like members of the team. There's a hero you play.
There's saying I could play.
There's a hero there's a
this?
giant monkey. His entire role,
What are you trying to say?
he
What are you
jumps
trying to say?
he jumps up into the air into the back of everyone else, holds down left click, and that's his role.
Okay.
He just disrupts the fuck out of people. Like you can hold down left click.
I could do that. No, we've had this
great.
discussion before
Yeah,
about
yeah.
like roles and like different things are more attuned to FPS or like
Right.
just group combat kind of a thing, and you can get in there. But immediately when it's an FPS PvP, I'm immediately like,
Yeah.
I don't
We're
want anything to do with it because I've had so many moments where I'm like, hey, let's play a game together, guys. And they're like, nice round, Zeke. You did. Hey, you went 1-50, and now you got one.
Yeah.
You got one.
No, it's incredibly
it's
frustrating.
because I
know.
accidentally dropped a grenade.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, at least you know you got it.
Let's
I want to play some
but yeah.
Quake 3 with you really bad, Zeke.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Awesome.
No, you don't. I don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
we should do like Quake 3 CTF or something like that. Maybe insta-gib so that he can get some kills. So that as long as he like clicks a person once, it'll be good.
When is there going to be a group PvP game that relies on like wit or like making fun of the other team? Like I could do that. I'd be captain of that team. They're like, I'd shit all over you.
I don't know
Maybe-
what to tell you, Zeke.
Maybe at a future PAX or something, they'll do keep talking nobody explode races, where you get
Hey!
like two teams the same. There you go.
You can do that.
That'd be your game of choice. Your PvP game of choice.
No, if they brought like the Dirty Dozens to like a video game style, I'd be in it. That's like your mama so fat jokes, like
Right.
that kind of shit. I would probably do that.
I bet you could.
Yeah.
There you go. So I think we've ran like an hour over time already.
Oh,
Are we really?
Your
Are
game,
you
your-
actually
let's-
serious?
Let's just
Yeah.
recap. Your game of the year was
My game of the year was Rocket League.
Rocket League.
Is it really 5?
Oh wow, it's
Game of the
it's
year.
4 o'clock right now.
For Co, Witcher 3, right?
Witcher 3, all the
Okay.
way, man.
Keep talking and
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
Yeah, we're officially an hour over. So
Oh, who has all the games on, or the games on all the lists?
The only games I believe are Rocket League and Witcher 3.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice. A lot of variety.
I think that actually speaks a lot about,
I wonder if they're going to tell us when we're done that they just cut the broadcast at 3.
we just kept talking.
We just
for an
kept
extra
talking for
Yeah.
another hour.
Well, I did want to preview 2016 a little bit, but maybe we'll just do that next week.
We can make that the whole episode next week.
Yeah. So next week we're all except Wheat because he's going on a fucking cruise because he doesn't actually work. He just goes on cruise.
No, hold on. It's not a fucking cruise. It is a fucking Star Wars cruise. All right?
true.
That,
Really?
yeah,
That's
really,
awesome.
dog.
That sounds awesome.
You ready?
That sounds awesome. Am I coming?
Han Solo.
Am I going?
Right here. Han Solo for Pirate Night. Han Solo for Star Wars Night. Han Solo. I told my wife I might just sleep.
I will be.
In my Han
I
Solo
will be.
costume.
I'll dress up like undercover boss Kylo Ren,
Dude,
the SNL sketch.
that shit
I will
was
be that.
hilarious.
I will go on the boat like that,
so good.
dressed
There you
up as
go.
undercover Ren.
I'm Bill.
Yeah.
No, you aren't.
So while Wheat is traversing the seas on the Disney Star Wars cruise, 3 of us are going to be at PAX South doing
Yep.
another Drop Frames panel. So there will be no show next Wednesday, which is typically when the show airs, every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern. We're going live at
Oh, so we're not doing this one. We're going to do
Yeah.
our. Okay, got it.
2 live shows in a row, which is actually kind of fun.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
cool. It'll be on Friday, 5 to 6 Central, which is 6 to 7 Eastern, next Friday, right after the Twitch Town Hall. And do you want to
6
tease,
p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific.
Do you want to tease the Town Hall at all?
I
Can
mean,
you-
I will tease that I won't be doing the town hall.
Yeah.
Aaron will actually be doing, Aurelian will be doing the town hall. I believe there's going to be some announcements there.
Yeah. And
So
so,
you guys might have an interesting show.
We're gonna have
there's
some
gonna
stuff
be huge announcements.
Oh, yeah.
Big announcements.
so we should have some stuff to talk about, which should be a lot
I
of
would
fun.
guess that you'll have stuff to talk about regardless of whether
We
or not
will,
there's
yeah,
an announcement.
yeah.
So the
There you
answer
go.
is yes.
There you go. So that's that. But yeah, I think
dude.
because we're an hour over.
This I don't
Wait,
care.
was it only supposed to go to 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I had it on my calendar blocked 4 hours. I thought we
Well,
were
there you go.
normal on time.
We just
No.
talk a lot, it turns
When
out.
you were like an hour over, I'm like, it's 5? Oh my God.
Dude, I had a blast, man.
Yeah,
It's
this
fun.
was a lot
It's
of
a lot
fun.
I
of
did too.
man.
Thanks for having me.
Shout
on,
out to the Twitch
Thank you, man.
team, I guess, for letting us come out here and do this,
Oh,
and also
yeah.
the production
Oh,
team
yeah.
behind the scenes.
You guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
To Adam,
Ahmed Soli.
yeah, part of Wheat's team, who I think is going to be doing more stuff in 2016. So look forward to that.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it. We're gonna go eat some expensive steaks. Actually, no, we're gonna go play a game that we can't talk about. Let's say
Oh,
that.
yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple.
Yeah, we're gonna go play a game we can't talk about, and then eat some expensive steaks. And I think streams will return for all of us tomorrow
Hey.
when we get home on Thursdays.
Hell
got
yeah,
it.
dude. Hell yeah.
That's it for Drop Frames. Thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Have a great evening. We're out. Bye bye.